gentleman that's coming up right now that really make it all happen. If you haven't ever sat down and had the opportunity to meet or chat with or become friends with Mr. Jim Britt, you're missing something. This is a fellow I've known for probably 25, 30 years. And, you know, we have similar backgrounds in the industry, except he's a legend. You know, the guy is absolutely amazing. One of the best authors and trainers and coaches in the industry and personal development. And I've asked him to come on today, and he graciously accepted. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, Jim. Take it away. I'm going to take notes. I can't wait to learn from you. Everybody, Mr. Jim Britt.
Hey, Tim. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate that introduction. And yeah, it's been a long time, man. I've 25, 30 years. I mean, somebody asked me uh, a couple of days ago how long I'd known you, and I said I don't really remember. So it's been a while. But yeah, we've had some good times together. So uh, what I want to share today. I was thinking back to a major decision I made uh, in my early 20s. I joined up in a direct sales company. I was a factory worker before that, worked on an assembly line. Before that, I pumped gas. That was my only experience. And somebody introduced me to a direct sales company, and I had to come up with $4,000 to get started. Took me 23 banks and loan companies and applications to come up with that, but I did, and I got started. And the fellow that introduced me to it, he said, your job is talking to people. He said, if you talk a little, you'll earn a little, but if you talk a lot, you'll earn a lot. And I said, well, how much is a lot? He said, 10 a day. So I gave a week's notice at the factory, started talking to 10 people a day, and I did that for a year. And at the end of a year, I had talked to no less than 3,650 people, and I made one sale. And I'm standing in my kitchen looking out the window, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I'd failed miserably. The only thing I got good at selling was I sold my boat, my camper, my pickup, my fishing equipment, my guns, and all of that just to live and have, food in the house. And I looked to the right and I could see my front door, and it had a notice on it from the sheriff saying, you got to be out in 5 days. Your home has been foreclosed. I looked at my driveway where my two fairly new vehicles were parked. They were gone because they'd been repoed. About half of my furniture had been taken. And I had a wife and a child, and I had 15 cents in my pocket and no food in the house. And I thought about it for a few minutes. I'm going, what am I going to do? And I thought about going back to the factory because they had hired me back. I was their number one employee. And I thought, I don't even know how to get there. I don't have a vehicle. It's 10 miles away. Then I thought, no, I'm not going back there. And I thought about it for about 10 or 15 minutes. And I said, no, I'm going to stick with this and I'm going to make it happen. And I tell you, over the next 2 days, a series of miracles took place. And I ended up with $300 a week coming in, 3-bedroom furnished apartment given to me, a vehicle to drive, another opportunity presented to me by the one sale that I made that earned me over $500,000 the next 12 months. And somebody showed up, an executive from the direct sales company showed up during that 2-day period, spent 2 hours with me, taught me basically what I was doing wrong, and then what I needed to be doing. And that business took off like a rocket. And over the next 12 months, earned me just under $500,000. So I went from 15 cents to a millionaire in 1 year because I wouldn't give up. I made the decision that nothing less than that will do. Now, you've heard of that 80-20 rule, right? Most people have, 80% of the people don't follow through with what they say they're going to do. 20% do all the production. And of course, within that 20%, you always have the top elite 5% or 3%. But let's talk about the 80-20. Why does the 80% not follow through? They join up in the gym to, get their body fit. on average, they drop out in about 6 weeks. 90% drop out in about 6 weeks. They go on a weight loss program first of the year. About pretty much 100%, probably not quite, but a good 80% drop out within the first 2 weeks. They go to an event like one of mine. They learn how to become an entrepreneur, how to make more money. They even buy a program to take home. 80% put it on the shelf and never use it. And that always puzzled me. It just puzzled me. But what I figured out one day about 35 years ago is that we all develop a core belief that we have about ourselves in the first 6 years of life. And the interesting thing is, we don't know we have it. We're aware that we have the problem. We're very self-aware, that we need to lose weight or make more money or get fit or have a better relationship or whatever it is. We're all aware of that. But we don't follow through. We take action. I met a fellow one time. He said, "I want to take you by my home and I want to show you something." He opened his double car garage. It is almost completely full of cassette albums. And I said, "What is all of this?" I said, "You marketing this?" He said, "No, I purchased all of these." He had gone through 3 marriages, lost 2 homes, and bought all of these personal development programs and was still looking for the next one because he got trapped in that 80%, that core belief that we all develop about ourselves. Sometimes we develop a belief that money's easy to come by, but we also develop a belief that maybe relationships are hard to keep together, or health is hard, or whatever. We come up with these core beliefs, and we develop skill sets as we go through life. We may have a skill of being a great auto mechanic, or a great singer. I met a woman in what was a hotel, Four Seasons up in Seattle, I think it was, a while back. And I went into the bar to have a glass of wine while I'm waiting on my table at 9 o'clock, and she was singing the most beautiful, incredible voice I had ever heard. And it just penetrated you her voice just made you almost come to tears just listening to it. And then she said, "I've got to take a 15-minute break. I'll be back." And she walked past me and I said, "Excuse me." But I said, "You have the most incredible voice that I have ever heard, bar none." I said, "It is just absolutely fantastic." I said, "You shouldn't be singing in front of these 5 people in this lounge. You should be in front of 5,000 people. And right away, she starts putting herself down. "Oh, I could never do that. And, I'm not really that good." And I thought, wow, she developed this skill, but yet she can't take it to the next level because of the core belief that she has about herself that she doesn't know she has. And if you're lucky, maybe you found a way to find that core belief and get rid of it. Most haven't. Even the 20% have some things that they need to get rid of that's stopping them in life. Maybe they're great at making money, they suck at relationships or whatever. So how do you break free of that programming? So I want to share that with you. How do you break free of it? Well, first of all, somebody asked me why I got involved in that direct sales company. I said, well, inspiration and desperation. I was inspired to do something more with my life than work in a factory, and desperation because I was barely making it day to day, month to month. And I think the starting point is that we all have to have a desire to have more in life, or to do more in life, or become more in life, whatever it is you're looking to do. And we probably all have a desire to get rich, but what is rich? Well, rich could be rich relationships, rich in health, rich in money, and a lot of different ways to be rich. But whatever it is you want in life, you have to have a strong, burning desire to have it. And nobody can produce that for you. Nobody can manufacture that for you. That's got to come from inside you. Even when I worked in the gas station, I felt like I was the best in the world. When I worked in the factory, I know I was the best out of 9,000 people because they rated you. And I did the job of 4.57 people, except I didn't get paid anymore. but I had a desire to be better. I used to pick cotton. Every day I would go, I tried to beat my last day, not beat everybody else, just beat my last day. I had a desire to do that. Don't know where that came from, but I've always had a burning desire to become better and do more and help more people. So it has to start with that. And I think everybody's got a desire deep inside them, but pull it out and really look at it and decide is the next step. Decide what you're going to do, because that decision I made back then, standing in my kitchen, was probably the major turning point in my life. And so many people, I think they get right to the point of making that decision, and then they back away because they're afraid. I know when I wrote my first book, and I've written 15, but when I wrote my first book, it took me 10 years of saying I'm going to write this book this year until I finally made the decision to get it done. Because I didn't think I could write. I dropped out of high school. English was my worst subject. I like playing pool. That's how I made my extra spending money. So I made a firm decision, and that became a reality that year. But a decision that doesn't allow for anything less. And you have to own it. You have to become it. You have to feel it. Which comes first? Your success that you want to accomplish, or the feeling of success? And a lot of people say, well, once I am successful, I'll feel success.
Jim, somebody muted you. Could you please unmute? There was some background noise, and I think they were trying to turn somebody else off, and they turned you off as well. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
And where was I?
You're just like 1.5 sentence back. If you just back
okay.
up.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, a decision creates a mindset, and a mindset determines how you show up. People say, well, how do I know what my mindset is? And I said, well, look at any area of your life, and you'll see exactly what your mindset is about that area. And I don't believe that, the law of attraction, we've heard a lot about that over the years. And I think if it worked the way that most people think it should work, that we'd all be cruising in the Caribbean in our 100-foot yacht. But I don't see it that way. I see it as a law of creation, because when you have a mindset, let's say you have a mindset to become a millionaire, or a decision you've made to become a millionaire or a multimillionaire, depending on where you are in life. That mindset determines how you show up to the world, and it determines how the world shows up to you, and it determines how opportunities show up. They're already there, but if you don't make the decision, you'll never see them. So it's what I call the law of creation. So decision is so important. Goals, people set their goals, they write them down, they do the short-term, long-term, intermediate, they put them up on their vision board and all of that stuff. I don't go to that trouble. When I decide I'm going to do something, I just make the decision and get on with it. A lot of that other, I'm not saying it's a bad thing if it works for you. It just doesn't work for me. I like just making a decision to get going. If I'm going to write a book, I don't need to write it down. I just start writing. If I want to, accomplish something, or, become something in the next, 12 months, I don't write that down. I can remember it. So decision making is so important. That's the foundation for goal setting. So if you have a goal, it's out in the future someplace. So decision making is in the present. And that's where we operate, in the present. So if you set the goal without the decision, a firm decision that nothing less than this will do, it's just kind of pie in the sky. It's wishful thinking. I had a little 8-year-old leave one of our events one day, and Ian, his mom, and I said, "What'd you get out of it?" He said, "I learned that goals are things people get because they decide to get them." I'm going, wow. He said, "I also learned that wishes are for poor people." I'm going, wow, that's pretty good from an 8-year-old. So once you make a decision, now it's time to take action. And so many people hesitate to take action because they're getting ready to get going. But here's my philosophy about taking action. Once you've decided what you want, everything you do from that point forward, every action you take, every move you make is either moving you toward it or away from it, period. There's no gray area. If you decide you want to, lose 20 pounds and you're used to eating fast food, and you say, well, I'm going to back off and I'm only going to eat that Big Mac once a month. Well, okay, it's up to you. But is that taking you where you want to go or away from it? There's no gray area. It's either helping you or it's not. Same way with your business. If you hesitate to make that phone call, my question is that taking you where you want to go or away from it? That follow-up that you want to do, and you hesitate because you don't want to get a no. Is that taking you away from or taking you toward what you want to accomplish? And I got an email just a few days ago from somebody, I don't remember the person, from like Indonesia or someplace. And he said, just out of the blue, he messaged me on LinkedIn and he said, a few years back, he said, we had a conversation on LinkedIn. And he said, you mentioned to me about mindset, about every action you take is moving toward what you want based on the decision that you've made, or it's taking you away from it. And he said, you also mentioned that if no decision is made, it doesn't matter what action you take because you're going to end up someplace else anyway. And he said, I have that printed out. It's on my desk and it's on my mirror, and it has been for the last several years. He said, I just want to thank you because it changed my life. So look at that. When you decide what you want in life, every action is going to take you toward it or away from it. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine. We used to read the same books and get on the phone and discuss them back and forth. He lived in a different state than I did. And sometimes we have to be on there for an hour or two just discussing the book that we'd read. And he called me up one day and he said, would you go to page 87 in this book? And he said, just read it real quick while I wait. And I did. And he said, let's discuss it, because it was a very in-depth book. And so we had a good hour-long discussion about it. And before he quit, he said, hey, Jim, he said, what do you think the word resourceful means? I said, man, I don't know. I said, maybe using your imagination or being more productive. I said, I don't know why. He said, well, it's just an interesting word. I said, yeah, I guess so. That was it. A couple of minutes later, we hung up. And a few hours later, I'm driving home and I couldn't get that word out of my mind. Resourceful. What does that mean? I don't know why I was thinking about it. I get home, and of course, this was 35 years ago. We didn't have a Google. We didn't have internet, nothing. I didn't have a place to go research it or anything. All I had was a dictionary. So I go to the dictionary when I get home and look up resourceful. And it's defined as, once again, full of source. And I thought, that's interesting, depending on what you think source is. And I wonder how source is defined. So I looked up the word source. And it was defined as where all things originate, not some things, but all things. And that was the only definition I saw, where all things originate. And I thought, wow, that's powerful. Again, depending on what you think source is. And I went to the bookstore the next day to pick up some books I'd ordered. And I asked for, what dictionaries you have, and see if I could find one that was different than mine. Looked up a couple. No different definition. Asked for the origin of words, any book that had the origin of words, couldn't find it there. And I kept looking. I was just kind of obsessed with it a little bit over about the next year and a half. And I was in the UK presenting an event, and I went out to do a talk or to do a walk, and walking along, and I see this building with a sign on the back door. It said antique books. And I thought, oh, I love antique books, and they probably have a lot of older books here than we have in the US. So I walked in the back door. Guess what I see? The first thing was a dictionary about a foot thick and probably 8 inches or so. But anyway, a big dictionary. And it was all tattered and torn on the outside. I didn't look up the publication date. I wished I had. But it did have a sign on it that said, do not open. And I thought about it for a minute and I thought, yeah, that's probably for people in the UK. So I'm going to open it. And I was prepared to buy it if I had to, I think. I don't know what it would cost. So I opened it up carefully, and the pages were kind of brown looking. And I carefully opened it and went to the S's and looked at the source. And it had some of the same things I'd seen, and a few other little things about source and acronyms and different things. And then I see one that just popped out off of the page at me. It said source love. I went, wow, once again, full of love. And I left there and I kept walking down the street and I'm going, how does that apply to your life? Once again, full of love. Then it hit me. I thought, well, when you make a decision to do something, you know, like what, Tim and Sanders done here with the great discovery, you fall in love with it. You are in love with it. So resourceful is once again full of love. So every time you make a decision to do something, you fall in love with that decision. That's what creates the passion to keep you moving forward. And I walk along a little further and I'm going, wait a minute. I thought there's a flaw here. If all things originate in love, where in the heck does fear come from? Thought about that for a few minutes and I thought, oh, I got it. We fall in love with fear. Think about that. We make a decision to do something in our life, and then we turn around, which is a made up story of what you want to accomplish, and then we make up a fear to keep us from getting it. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if I can't do it? What it may be all in your mind. Well, it is all in your mind, but we're making up a different decision other than what we've decided to have. We're making up fear to keep us from getting it. And you see people say, well, you got to bust through that fear. No, you got to let go of that fear. You got to look at it for what it is. When you fall in love with something, you got to stay in love with it. Now, I left there the next day and I flew to Toronto. And I was out, had a 2-day event there. I was out walking down Yonge Street, had a long walk, probably out a couple miles or so, and realized I was a little late. I had a fellow that was with me, and we're both tall and 6'4", and walking pretty fast to get back. And suddenly, I feel somebody on my right shoulder. Literally, looking forward, I could see this person. That's how close they were, and he was in step with me, and I could smell him. And I was about ready to turn around and say, "Hey, buddy, back off just a little bit, okay?" Because it made me a little nervous. I didn't know if he was going to trip me or what. But then he started talking in two different voices. And the first voice said, "And God created man." And the other voice said, "Yeah, I know that." He said, "Yeah, then God created woman." He said, "Yeah, I know that too." He said, "But then God created fruit." He said, "What the heck does fruit have to do with anything?" He said, "Well, inside the fruit, there's a seed. And he said, if you plant it, it will grow. And if you don't, it won't." And then he turned and went the other direction. Thought about that for a minute. I thought, it's true. When you fall in love with something, you're planting a seed. And what do you need to do when you plant that seed? You plant your garden. You plant a seed in your garden. What do you do with it? You just plant it and walk away, hope it grows. It's like the guy walking down the street and he sees this one guy with this incredibly beautiful garden. And he walks up and he goes, "Wow." He said, "You and God have an incredible garden here." He said, "Yeah, you should have seen it when God had it all by himself." So there's work to do. There's things to let go of. There's things to keep us on track. There's things that we have to do to get where we want to go. And then what do you do in a garden? You plant the seed, you water it, you let the sun, create the whatever it needs. Or if it's a plant that grows in the shade, you got to put a shade over it. You got to, most importantly, you got to keep the weeds out because they grow automatically. You know, you don't plant the weeds, they just come up. And if you don't take care of the weeds or the weeds in your mind that throws you off track, then it will smother out your garden. It'll smother out what you want to accomplish. Which brings up my final step is the power of letting go, is being able to let go. I was asked on a panel a while back, what's the number one thing I've learned over the years that's been the most beneficial for me in business and in life? And I said, without hesitation, the ability to let go. The ability to let go of things over which you have no control. Let go of the need to control circumstances. You know, if you need control, you're out of control. If you need approval, you don't get it. So let go of those two things for one. Let go of the need for approval, let go of the need to be in control. Make decisions, yes. Take actions, yes. Watch your actions, and if are they moving toward what you want or not. But letting go, I want you to think of something that's holding you back. Any one thing, it doesn't matter, in any area of your life, financially, personally, whatever. Something you want to break free and get past of. And takes about 2 seconds for most people. So I want you to think about that. What would it be like if you got rid of that? If that was no longer an issue, what would your life look like? How would you feel? And the next question I want to ask you is, can you see anything that's not stressful or harmful to you to continue to hang on to the thing that's keeping you from getting what you want? If the answer is no, my next question is, do you want to let it go? And if the answer is yes, let's move to the next question, which is a much more difficult question. Are you willing to let it go? And in some of my events, I've asked that question, and I've had people say, yeah, well, let me think through lunch. Then I'll let you know this afternoon, or I'll let you know tomorrow, or let me think about it for a while. Now, my question is, are you willing to let it go? Because if you're not willing to let things go, people say, well, it's hard to let go. And I'm going, no, it's not. It's a choice. You know, if I'm holding this mouse in my hand, how long do I need to hold my hand for the rest of my life? And the answer is no. I can lay it down. I can let it go. And we can do the same thing. Something happens in the past that affected you back then. You don't have to carry it around today. I had a woman in one of my workshops. We were talking about financial success in one of the segments. And she said, well, I can never be financially successful or never be successful in business. And I said, why not? I'm guessing she was 45 years old, maybe 50. And she said, well, because of my father. And I said, well, what about your father? She said, well, he verbally abused me all my life. From the time I was 2 years old, he used to push me out of the way and said, get out of here. I don't love you anyway. Go away. She said, I never knew why. And all the way through my years growing up until I was 18, he would say, oh, you'll never amount to anything anyway. You'll never measure up to your siblings, and just put her down up until she was 18 years old and she left home. And I said, so that's the reason you can never be successful. She said, yeah. I said, okay. I said, where's your father now? She said, oh, he died 10 years ago. I said, oh. I said, well, who's abusing you now? She said, I don't understand the question. I said, well, he's not here, so who's abusing you? Well, I still don't understand. I said, well, you think about it for a while. And I said, I'll come back in 15 or 20 minutes. So I did. And I came back 4 times. And every time, well, the 4th time, she said, you mean I'm abusing me? I said, I don't know. What do you think? I said, I don't know. I said, okay, well, keep thinking about it. The next time back, I didn't get within 10 feet from her. And she said, oh my God, I'm carrying on his legacy. I'm the one abusing me. And she finally got that she was hanging on to all of that stuff that she didn't need to hang on to. She has the ability to let go. And when she did, I worked with her for about 5 minutes. And when she did, literally 10 years fell off of her face. She dropped all of that pain and lines went away. It was just an amazing experience. So letting go is something we all have to do. And the faster, if it's something that's not working for you, something that happened in the past, whether it be a relationship breakup or a death in the family or whatever it is, a loss in business or a fear that you do have the ability to let go and move past it. Because when you hang on, you don't have the capacity to create things new in your life. And when you let go, it leaves space for that. And that was 35 years ago, about 33 years ago, I created a program, The Power of Letting Go. And it's a pretty extensive program. It's got 32 audios, about 16 hours, but it pretty much covers any and everything that anybody might ever be going through. And would love to have you experience that here on The Great Discovery. And I've got a book, my first book, Rings of Truth, which is my story. It's also up. You can have a free PDF copy of that ebook. And I'll guarantee you, I'm Matt in the book, by the way, my name, because nobody wanted to put their real names in there, so I didn't either. But it's a true story, one fictional character. You'll have to figure out who that is, but I guarantee it'll be in your top, if not the top book you've ever read, at least in your top three, guaranteed. So I'd love to have you experience that. But anyway, I will. I don't know what my time is, but I'm all wrapped up here. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me here for a few minutes, and hopefully we'll maybe have a time to connect at some other point here. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Jim Britt. That was just an excellent session. Every time I listen to you, it's like I pick up another little nugget. Sometimes it's a big one, and appreciate you for coming on. Now, Jim has his content. He's seen the vision of The Great Discovery. He's expanding his reach we're actually working on helping him work through some of his books to get them translated into translatable audio books. So the message that you heard is now available to everyone in the world. How's that, Jim? Does that make a big difference? How many more
pretty
people?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim, how we reconnected, you were on, I saw your image on Facebook and I just said, hey, how's it going? And then you told me about The Great Discovery. And the more I learned about it, even today, I learned a few more things. It's just the most incredible thing. I mean, to be able to, I've often thought about, translating and, but then you hire a translator and all of, I just never did it, never pursued it. And with what you have here, it's just pretty awesome. I mean, you sent me that little 5-minute video of me talking in 5 different languages, and I'm going, wow, that is amazing. It really is. So I'm looking forward to really diving in and learning more and doing more here at the Great Discovery.
I'm just excited to see you being able to empower other people with the knowledge that God has gifted you with. Our gifts are only good they're for someone else. Every gift that we have, it's not for us, it's for the people that God puts in our universe, in our sphere. So thank you, my friend. If you haven't seen Jim's courses, they are available online. Sandra just dropped them in the chat. You can go click on those, grab them, refer others to them. And if you're coming in, you're going to click on them through your own site. You'll get credit for them as well as everyone in your network. That's the cool part about The Great Discovery. Take advantage of this, guys. Thank you so much, Jim Britt. I appreciate you so much. More than you know, my brother. Appreciate you a lot.
Amen.
Okay, guys, I just have one quick question, and we're going to bring up our next speaker that's coming in. And, Jim was talking about 80-20, 20% do, 80% say they're going to, but they never really get around to it. Here's my question for you. Just put it in the chat right now. What side do you want to be on? And what did you like most about what you've heard so far, going all the way through from whether it was the breakout sessions, the intro sessions, to the Great Discovery global education community, the system, any of the things that we've covered? Jim Britt's amazing session just now. Put it in the chat. Let's see if you're going to be in the 80 or 20 and go from there. In the meantime, I'm going to bring up our next speaker. Our next speaker is a good friend of mine. He's become a great friend. I just love this guy. His name is Matt DiMaio. And Matt, I don't know, many of you have seen him on YouTube. You've seen him on different places. He's all over. Matt is everywhere. And, You know, my first experience with Matt, he came and spoke at one of our events, and he walked around the room, and he went up to the front a little bit later, and he simply recited every single person's name in that room. There was 120 people, you know, in that room, or more. I don't know, you know. And then he went on and showed everyone how to memorize in a couple of minutes a 30-digit random number. What Matt's gift is organization, it's recall, it's teaching skills that all of us have that we're just not using. And so we asked Matt to come on today. He's going to give us a great session right now that's really going to help you as we're going through this today. We've been through a lot already, and we've got more. This is a summit, guys. You know, it's interactive. We're going to have more breakout sessions, giveaways, and everything else. But, you know, you've gone through everything from how you can expand your reach around the globe to some technology to, you know, to breakout sessions, to hearing personal development things that change your life. And how do you keep it all in order? How do you keep from getting overwhelmed? I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend Matt. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Tim, and hello, everybody out there in the great Discovery Land. Matt DiMaio here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. And I specialize in teaching strategies, tactics, and techniques that speed up your ability to learn whatever you want faster and easier than you ever believed possible. And so I have a presentation to help you get the absolute maximum benefit out of the rest of the speakers that are going to be presenting here today. And it's called From Overload to Overjoyed. And let me see if I can come up here and share my slide presentation with you all. And here we go. And let me make sure that I've got it all good here. Tim, am I sharing yet?
You are sharing, my friends. You are sharing.
Okay, all right, so let's see what we've got here. Okay, here we go. Now it's clicking. So, look, your brain is brilliant, but it needs a friendly framework to absorb all of the information that comes at us all of the time. We live in a world of information overload. You know, we've got AI and crypto and new apps. And those of you that have bought a new car have been overwhelmed with the instruction manual. You take a look at news stories that are frequently contradicting each other. There's a lot going on. And today, we're going to give you a wealth of new information. And so I want to do what I can to help you not just hear the information, but be able to retain it better. And so I've got some really quick, short tips to be able to go through this with you. So first of all, let me talk a little bit about what I call are the learning landmines. What is it right now that stops you from getting the most out of whether it's today's session or any time you sit in on any educational program? What is it that's holding you back? So there's really three things. So the first thing is the fact that a lot of times people like to multitask, and some of you wear it as a badge of honor. But interestingly enough, when you are learning new information, it's actually like you're performing brain surgery on yourself. You are literally rewiring your circuits. So we're going to come back and talk about multitasking in a moment. The second learning landmine, and this is a big one, is unrealistic expectations. Many of you expect that the very first time you're going to hear all of this new information, you're going to get it. Like it's going to make the light bulb go on. And that is highly unusual. Understanding is a process. It's not a performance. And the third one is negative self-talk. Now, Jim Britt did a marvelous job of covering a little bit about that subject. You've got to be careful about the instructions that you give yourself because you're programming your own brain to fail. Now, I will admit that the things that I'm going to talk about are very small things. And so as a result, you may dismiss them as being too small. But the simple truth is, small things can and do frequently make a big difference. If you've ever had a grain of sand in your eye, you know that it can stop you from seeing clearly. So my role here today is to help you get all of the grains of sand out of the way and not clogging up your wristwatch or your electronic equipment or the sliding door on your porch, and it's certainly not getting into your eyes. So let's talk about multitasking and why multitasking, I think, is really something that you got to be very careful of, that you avoid. It's absolutely one of the very worst things that you can engage in when you're attempting to learn something new. And I can hear you from now going, no, I'm great at it, but let me prove it. Let me prove it to you. Ask yourself this: would you want your surgeon checking their email or checking their social media status while they're performing an operation on you? Yes or no? Why not? Because you know instinctively that multitasking reduces your personal power. Multitasking reduces your ability to perform at your best. The next thing is, a lot of times people have unrealistic expectations when they're attempting to learn something new. And there are actually 6 steps anytime you are learning something. Now, these 6 steps, this is a big topic that I teach frequently. In fact, I'll be willing to send any of you who want it a free report on it if you send me an email, but I only have time to touch on it here right now. The 6 steps to learning not only help you learn everything yourself, but they help you understand how other people learn things. And when you are able to fully grasp these 6 steps, you can become incredibly persuasive with other people because you'll understand how they get new information. But the first step is what I want to focus on. The first step to learning anything that is completely new is that your mind rejects it. It bounces off your head. If you were skimming stones on the lake, the stone has left your hand, it hasn't hit the lake yet. The very first exposure to brand new information, you don't get it, you don't like it, you don't believe it, you reject it. Now, some of you are, if I'm allowed to read your thoughts from here, some of you are saying, well, Matt, you don't know me. That's not how I think, which kind of proves my point. The second step in learning something new is where your mind opens up a little bit before it shuts back down. And you say, well, maybe that's true, but not for me. The third step, it stays open a little longer. Oh, it might work if I had a better instructor, if I had more time, if this were made more clear. It might work, but then again, it might not. So what happens to people is during the first 3 exposures to new information, you're interpreting all of that as if you're not getting it. And the simple truth is you've moved through 3 steps of the process, because at step 4 is where the light bulb goes on and agreement lights up, and that's what happens. Step 4 is agreement. Step 5 is where you can use that new information, where you're now able to use it yourself. Step 6 is where you have total mastery, where you're able to teach it to other people. You cannot give away that which you don't possess to begin with. So the 6 steps today, for most of you, you're going to be dealing with steps 1 and 2. This is brand new information, and you're not going to get it, and you're going to feel a little overwhelmed and a little confused and a little upset. Or step 2, you're going to go, well, maybe this is true for other people, but this is not for me. Please understand that an idea has to sink in. We use that expression all of the time. I'm simply defined what the steps are to allow it to sink in. So what I want you to understand is, don't be upset with yourself. Just allow you to be wherever you are right now as you get this, And if you are patient with yourself and give yourself a couple of extra exposures to this information, you will absolutely get it. And that's encouraging to know. The third one, I'm only going to briefly talk on this now, and that's negative self-talk. You all understand. You're all smart people. You know that you can program yourself both positively and negatively, but I want to give you some magic words. Sometimes during the day today, you are going to lose focus. You're going to lose concentration. And I want to give you some magic words to instantly regain concentration. And that is to say the words out loud to yourself, come back to now. It sounds overly simplistic. It's one of those grains of sand. Sounds like it's no big deal, but it's huge. Say to yourself, say out loud, come back to now. And you're giving your mind permission and instructions to come back to the present moment. Sometimes people say, well, how does it work? Well, it's kind of like walking into an office and turning on the light switch for fluorescent tubes in the ceiling. You know, I could explain all of the scientific stuff about how the light lights up. You you hit the switch and the circuit closes and the electrons flow through the wire and then they go into the fluorescent tube and it excites the gas. Excites the gas? What the heck does that even mean? I don't know. Guess what? You don't know either, and you don't have to know. All you need to know is you hit the switch, the light goes on. That's how come back to now works. And so if you give yourself little cues, and I'm going to give you a couple more in a moment, but if you give yourself these little instructions, guess what? It registers in your subconscious and you'll be able to learn whatever you want that much faster, and you'll be able to regain your focus. Now, I teach a 5-step formula. I call it the 5R formula for steel trap retention. We don't have time to get into all 5 of them. I'm only going to cover the first one here today, but I will send you a full report on all 5 of them if you email me. I'll give you that information at the end. We're going to concentrate right now on the first one, is how do you receive information? But let me just show you what the other steps are. Revising. So once you've received it, you need to revise it. I mean, rewrite it or put it into a different format and organize it in a way you can absorb. Next, you're going to recall it, and you want to learn to recall things without looking at it. Next, you're going to review it, and what that'll do, this is, by the way, one of the least used techniques when people are trying to learn something. They don't like to review, but it's incredibly powerful. And the last is retrieving it. This is where you're actually putting the content to work for you. But again, we're just going to concentrate on receive. And that is, learning starts with focus, not with getting a bunch of new information. It's like using a magnifying glass. And stay with me on this point. Many of you, when you were kids, would go out into the backyard with a magnifying glass and you'd burn leaves, or I know some of you would burn ants. And think about it. The sunlight is falling evenly in your backyard, and no ants are burning and no leaves are smoldering. But when you focus that light through the magnifying glass, you're able to multiply the power. Here's the point. Focus multiplies your power without using any extra energy. There's no more sunlight, there's no more energy. You're simply focusing it, and the strength of that beam of light becomes incredibly powerful. So without any more energy, you can increase your personal power when you're learning anything. So it's not about trying harder. It's simply about aiming better. So how should you receive information today? And I'm going to cover this fast. First of all, you need to name your focus. Jim talked about this. I talk about it. You need to give yourself the right instructions. Say to yourself before each section, hey, I'm here to learn something useful. Tell yourself the outcome you want. Too often, we tell ourselves the outcome we don't want. Oh, I can't get this. Oh, it's too much. Oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Well, is that the outcome you want? I don't think so. I hope not. So tell yourself the outcomes you do want. Next, Clear the static. Take your cell phone, and even if you can't turn it off, at least turn it upside down. Turn the ringer off. I know some of you have 27 tabs open on your computer right now. Close out all your tabs. They're only there to distract you. Close them out. One tab open. And this is true not only for today, but whenever you're learning something. If there's noises in the background, get away from it. Put headphones on. Do whatever you can to eliminate the distractions. Next, use a trigger word. We're back to personal self-instruction again. Tell yourself before each session today, when the next speaker is up, okay, I'm really going to absorb what Dr. Crystal's got to say. I'm really going to receive what James Moneypenny or what Deronda or what Bri or what Ed is going to talk about. I'm going to really receive their content today. And now, this one will surprise you. Sit like you mean it. Upright posture signals your brain's readiness. So play a game with me. Imagine this. Stand all bent over, shoulders slumped, head down, and in your best Eeyore voice, say, I'm excited. I'm inspired. It feels ridiculous. On the other hand, now assume the Rocky pose. Put your arms victoriously in the air. And now say to yourself, I'm depressed. I can't do it. It's stupid. I'm sad. It's ridiculous. Why? Because your body's posture influences your attitude and your performance. So, sit like you mean it. Now, here's a couple of quick tools to help you lock in your focus. Do what you're doing while you're doing it. Let me explain that, because it sounds like double talk. Have you ever sat in your office at work dreaming about being on vacation? And then you're on vacation thinking about all the work that's back waiting for you back in your office? You got to do what you're doing while you're doing it. So today you're taking this class. Today you're participating in this worldwide event. That's what you need to be doing. Stop thinking about all the other things, like your laundry, the housework, other things you got later on in the day. Do what you're doing while you're doing it. Next, we talked about this before. One tab open on your computer. That's it. Next, and this is something that's a big deal, keep a blank notebook handy. Not to take notes on everything that's going on. Yeah, you can do that. But you want a blank notebook handy to write down the things that are not happening today. As stray thoughts occur to you. Oh yeah, I've got to do my laundry. Oh yeah, I've got to take care of that errand later. Oh yeah, I've got a question to ask this speaker later. On that blank notebook, jot down those stray thoughts. Doing those things will help you focus. All right, so I want to be able to have you connect with me. So first of all, I have a YouTube channel. I've got a couple of 100,000 subscribers on my channel. It's called Be Smarter Faster. And all the information there is free. So whether you're looking to pass professional certification exams, whether you want to be able to read 3 times faster than you ever read before, whether you want to know tactics, techniques, and tricks on how to pass multiple choice exams, I've got hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel. Here on The Great Discovery, I have a lot of content. I've got a lot of free content. I've got multiple free ebooks that'll help you out. But as a gift to you today, I have a free memory course, and it's called Triple Your Memory Power. When you go into The Great Discovery, you'll see this is what the icon looks like. All right. So in The Great Discovery, check me out. By the way, I do have a paid memory course as well. I hope you buy it. I've got some other paid content as well. I hope you buy that stuff too. But I've got free stuff. And then message me. I promise that if you drop me an email and use overjoyed in the subject line, I will drop you a full report on how to use the 6 steps to learning and how to understand the 5R formula for steel trap retention. So to wrap up, Receiving is what it's all about today. So aim better. Remember, your focus isn't trying harder. Next, clear all the static, clear out the static, eliminate your distractions. Next, be intentional and learn with a purpose, and claim your focus. Folks, it's been my pleasure to speak with you today. In closing, everything I teach does take a little bit of work and effort, but I promise you it's worth it. Always remember that the fastest way to get to the top is to get off your bottom. Thanks for having me.
I remember that line. That's pretty impressive. You know, there you go. Thank you so much, Matt. You know, I appreciate that, and I think Sandra can probably drop your links to your course content in the chat. Remember, you know, by sharing Matt's courses, how many people do you know that can be empowered? You know, I've had a few lack of focus issues. I always thought multitasking was great. Sandra's really good at it. Me, not so much. You know, I don't know. I can barely watch. I got 3 computer screens going at the same time. They're helpful for moving stuff around, but it's only helpful when I'm focused on one project, you know, and pulling data from different sources. But thank you, Matt. I appreciate you and coming on. And again, make sure you go check out Matt's courses. And, you know, everything on the Great Discovery site is linkable. You can go to your site, click on Matt's course, free or paid. Click on there's a bar on the right side that shows Facebook. You can take that link and share it, and it'll post it onto your social media. They can click on that and you get paid. Hey, that kind of works so bad. And they're empowered, and Matt gets paid too. That's not a bad thing. Thank you guys so much. We're going to jump into our next session coming up here in just right now. And I met this young lady at an event with Mark Porteous some time back. We were at a kind of a touchy-feely event, not like that, but it was, you know, sort of it was really a kind of soulful leadership retreat that we were on. And, you know, I call those touchy-feely events where, you know, really deep thought and everything. And she was sitting next to me, and we connected a little bit and swapped some cards. And I started learning a little bit more about Dr. Crystal Gifford. And, you know, I asked her what she did. She started telling me, just like you did in your breakout room. And she started telling me about what she does in course creation and education. And so she creates courses and content and helps people to take their courses and content and get it to the next level. Imagine being able to take your ideas, your content, your offers, and put it together like Jim Britt or Matt DiMaio or some of the other great trainers and coaches on here. See, it's not just getting it out of your head and throwing it up on the screen. It's put it into a way that it's engaging, where people want to get to it, that they want to tell others about it, and they're focused on it, right? There's an art to that. And sometimes you can learn it on your own. You can certainly use our AI Creator Lab and Author Lab to really get you down the path, but sometimes it's that extra touch. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Crystal Gifford. Focus on this. You guys are going to love it. Doc, take it away.
Thank you so much, Tim. It's a pleasure, as always, to be here on the Great Discovery platform and in this network with all of you. What good speakers we have coming through. And we heard about becoming part of that 20%. And I want to challenge you today to become that 20%. Don't just come and hear it. And because you're here, we're a couple of hours into this process, and you're still here. That means you're already leaning into that 20%. So I want to congratulate you for doing that. And Matt, thank you. I actually use multiple browsers, Matt, not just multiple tabs. So I am continually practicing that, which actually I use the browsers to keep me in less tabs at a time, to focus on that one thing at a time, even if there are unfinished tasks that I'm waiting on someone. So I definitely am going to use some of those tricks to help me focus even more. And as we go through today, I do want to share with you, I'm going to just share with you my screen, and we are going to spend a few minutes together looking at what it might be if we were to truly become part of that 20%. What would that look like? And so in many cases, you might be here in this event, and maybe you're here at like the table already counting your money. Maybe you're already making your courses and they're already making money for you. And what you're really going to lean into for this talk is, how do I get more from that? Once I get someone to buy my course, what happens then? And perhaps you're the one who's still leaving money on the table. I know I have something to teach. I don't know how to translate all this wisdom and knowledge and experience that I've had into a journey that people will subscribe to, participate in, and finish. And so perhaps that's been your story. So today we're going to talk about what happens when you enter the content creator's journey. And we're going to talk about the space you might be in that journey. And for many of us, what happens first is we have this spark. It's like, oh my gosh, this is it. I found a cash cow, and it's so powerful. It's coming out the screen like a bull. Here comes the money. I'm so excited. Here comes the impact. Here comes the dreams. Here comes the community. Everything I've ever lived for, I'm there. And you're all in, and you sign up for the Great Discovery, and you announce your course, and you tell everyone, I'm going to do it. And you get into it, and you're like, okay, oh, it's time to do it. What do you mean, Matt, that I have to focus? I thought as long as I talk about the course, that's enough, right? I can be part of that 20% because I had an idea. And suddenly what sets in is that golden goose that you have been counting on, and that spark, you know this is the one, becomes so complex that you're not really sure how to navigate that. And the planning cycle sets in and start to spiral. And okay, this was great, but how much? And let's face it, content creators in the room, your stuff is good. Who can raise your hand with me, whether it's digitally or if you're on screen, who can say, my stuff is good. I have good content. I teach good work. And often we get there and we're like, hey, my stuff is good. I've got good work, but it's all good. So which part do you focus on, Matt? How do we get there? Well, it's all good. Everything, it all matters. And next thing you know, you have 18 modules and you're announcing, I have 20 hours of video for you. And you're excited about that. But the people learning from you, they're not excited. Yeah, Leah, Dr. Leah, we have Anna, we have Kathleen all saying, yes, I get what you're saying. It's like, it's all good. We have good content. So how do we know what good content means to your audience? And so it can get a little wiggly here, and you can get stuck in what I call a planning spiral. And then it would go further. Let's say you even get some help. And thanks to AI, we don't have to spin for long. We can say, hey, I need to focus. Here's what I want. How do I do it? And so for many of us, we get to an outline. We've got it. Now we know not only what's important to us, because it's all lovely, that's why we're teaching it, but what could be important to a beginner. So ChatGPT or your favorite AI of choice has helped you distill that down, and you have these 4 or these 6 modules, and now you're kind of stuck again. So the next phase in the content creator journey is that stuckness of, okay, but now that I have a course idea, how do I make it come to life? Or maybe you're like some content creators that you did the work, you actually made the videos, you put together some worksheets, you put it all in a platform, and you launch it kind of quietly. You don't really know about marketing or if anybody cared about the course, but you cared, and you launch it and we see nothing, crickets. All of a sudden, it didn't quite land. And if this is resonating, has anyone been on this phase of the content creator's journey? And by the way, you might have a successful course and come right back into this journey for your next idea. So maybe you've even launched or you've gotten the course up, but it didn't quite get the impact you were looking for. So you've gone through the spark. You had this beautiful planning spiral where everything is on fire and you're brainstorming, and you've outlined it, but can't quite get it there. And then you get it all outlined and it's ready, but you don't really know how to get it on the platform, or you got just enough help by the Great Discovery team and you got it up there, but you don't really know how to get people to pay attention or to go use your course. And so then comes the wake up. And what I'm here to invite you to today is to come with me on this journey to step out of the planning spiral, the stuckness, the quiet launches that no one knows your course is there, and to just acknowledge you're the expert in your topic. You're the expert in your curriculum. You do not have to be the expert in launching a course. It comes back to that focus. You do not have to be the expert in marketing, but we do have to understand and connect and know how they work and make decisions as the executive director of that course to allow that to happen. And so we rely on some of these functions with the marketing team and other people to make it forward, but how do we become part of that? How do we integrate, understand, know that what we're doing is making a difference? So I want to invite you to get to know what I've been up to. So a couple of moments just to share with you why I'm here with you today. As Tim mentioned, I have been in curriculum development actually since 1999. I thought about this the other day and I was like, I guess we've been partying my whole life. I've been started at 1999. And I've spent my years in university and slowly and quickly became, instead of a researcher in the publishing field, I became a researcher in the curriculum development field. And I found the ways to, I wasn't concerned about what the college needed. We can meet those marks. That's easy. So if some of you are looking to meet university standards, for example, that's so easy. We can do that. We can make it happen because it's just paperwork. But what about the learner journey? You have to connect. And what I've become an expert at transferring to other teachers is how do we create a content journey so that your customer, your client, ends up getting those impactful results that you've promised. They step up, they make the difference, they see the change that you've promised them. And that is a really simple way. And so I'm going to share with you today 3 simple steps how to go from the journey of stuckness and indecision and quiet launches as a content creator into the wake up call and even having that empowered course that you have a developed course, people are taking it, you're making an impact, they are buying your other services as a result of that course. So imagine with me that you've gotten it right and you've gotten past the tech, all the tech that gets complicated when it comes to building a course. And you've gotten past all of the content concerns about what is really the most important when someone's a beginner. And you've built this course and you, by the way, did it in a way that you were thinking about that audience before you started. A key common problem I see among content creators, I'll just give you this warning. This wasn't part of my speech, but I want to share it, is that we think because we find it important that others find it important as well. I remember the very first class, I created a workshop. It was at a small university in my hometown. I created a workshop and I was so proud of this workshop. It was a 6-week segment. We were meeting in person. It's back before we had Zoom and all these tools to meet online. And I was so proud of it. And I called it Survive the Season. Learn about financial management and survive this Christmas season or whatever. And I did it at Christmas. And in it, I was so excited for the modules. Capital budgeting. These were the titles, you guys. Capital budgeting, taxes, learning a budget. Who's excited about capital budgeting or taxes? Said no one ever, right? Except nerds like me who loved teaching money. So what you've got to understand is just because you love it doesn't mean that other people have the same connection, but they may want it and they may need it. So we're learning to speak their language. What do they really want and need? What, even though I've got to deliver you this medicine, big fan of Mary Poppins. So we got to have a spoonful of sugar in that medicine to help it go down. And so when we know they need it, how do we get that forward to that audience so they can see, oh, okay, I can see where this can help me? Because no one wants to do taxes, but we do want to save money with taxes or eliminate the overwhelm of taxes. So you're going to find what that thing is for your client. And imagine you've done that and you've stepped up and you are now in that space of the powerful content creator. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to get there. And it is really, truly this simple. And then I'm going to give you an invitation to go forward with us. A group of us are going to be doing this together starting in July. So I just want you to know that that's coming up. So if you have any parts of this that you're concerned about, I have a free version of the course on the Great Discovery platform. And we also are going to invite you to an experience today. So what you want to do is you want to think about what are those 3 simple steps. The first one, thank you, Matt. I mean, sometimes, Tim, I think that you know what's happening when you set your speakers up. It's like we're setting each other up for success, and I appreciate that about you, which is choose one thing. If you're going to be successful as a course creator, you cannot teach it all in one course. Now, I want to clarify because I know a couple of you were like, no, it's all important and you're ready and holding on, but it is important. And it is. I bet you it is. And I bet you are so correct on that. But I want to invite you to think that maybe to get it across, it's not all important at one time. And that just because you focus when you're building a product doesn't mean that you can never sell anything else again, but that during the time of that product launch, that's what you're about. That's what you're doing. I won't talk to you today about my money course. I won't talk to you about the stuff I do in high schools. I won't talk to you about the other things I do because I'm here for you as a content creator. And what I have for you is something from the Great Discovery process that they said, you know what, our people have some needs, and we looked to meet those needs. So the first thing you have to do is choose your one thing, and we're going to help you do that if you join us live, which will be really exciting. Then you're going to craft the customer journey, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of what that customer journey looks like today, just so you have that, and lots of free resources to help you take that home. And then you want to implement your systems that sell. Well, I have great news for you. The Great Discovery has taken out one of those elements and made it already accessible to you because they have their system that sells. You have a platform to structure your course, to put it in for the delivery. To have a system that sells, you have to deliver the course. And so they've made that so easy for you that we don't even have to just deliver it in our own home language, but we can deliver it anywhere in the world in any language. How cool is that for access? So I want to give you very briefly the 6 points, just so you have a sense of it. And when you come and join us for the live class, we're going to go deeper into these and actually spend a little time in each one of them. And we'll get a chance to really look at where you are. And then again, the free course offers a little bit of a deep dive into this particular piece. And that is to know if your course is going to be profitable. Anybody care about that? I am not ashamed. I love money. I love making money. I love the process of money. I love money coming in. I love counting money. And I love using money for powerful things that I want to create in my life. And so with that, I want to show you how to get content that converts so that you can get the money in the door and then fund your mission, your vision, your hope, whether that's for your own life or something else you want to do in the world. And so you want to start with having a content to promise ratio. So how well is your content keeping its promises? What is that measurement for you? Are you doing what you said you would do? If you break promises in the course process, why would I hire you to go further? So this is a fundamental piece. This is the integrity of your course, the integrity of your business starts right here. Do you keep your promises? So don't go out there. I know there's a lot of marketing that says, we have this and we have that. And thank you, marketing people who do it well and do it ethically. But sometimes marketing can be deceiving, and your course is not going to be that. As soon as you're known as the big course that doesn't have any good content, no one's going to buy again. They're not going to go further. And then you're really just always chasing new clients. But instead of chasing new clients, marketing people will tell you that's the most expensive is acquisition of something new. How do we convert so that people go, man, that James Moneypenny, I want to work with him again. That Matt DiMaio, I want to work with him again. That Tim, whatever they're doing at Great Discovery, I want to be a part of that because I see them in integrity. The second part of that is the customer journey. Can they measure with words, with numbers, with some kind of way, a comparison before and after? Can they see that they've had a transformation by the time they finish your process? So your course, your program, however you're structuring that. So is there a measurable transformation? If not, don't put it out there because you will get crickets. So we find out what is the impact and change I'm going to make for them. And then marketing is easy because we don't have to market in a fancy way. We just share the truth of what the course is doing. The third part of that is, does it create connection? Are we causing within the process of doing your course a deeper connection? And that's 2 parts. If you have a community, that's connection among your people. And many of us find that the Great Discovery has become a community. We're leaning on each other. Matt and I have had a couple of phone calls to share and to support each other. That becomes community. But the other part of that, and many of you are doing evergreen courses, is about connection to themselves or connection to the content. Does this connection happen and in a way that fosters, I get it now. I understand what it takes to build a good course that people will buy and that they will upsell themselves as they go through my material. So does that make a connection to both the community, if you have one, and to the material from the person that is taking that material? And then finally, do we have story? Can we include characters, ideas, avatars, stories that help your client or your customer as they're going through your learning journey to connect and go, oh, that's me. Think back. All of us have our favorite movies from when we were younger, or maybe we still love movies. Some of us are entrepreneurs and don't watch a lot of movies anymore, but maybe you think back to your movie and you watch it with your friends and you're like, oh, that one's me. And you'll identify your different friends, especially ladies. I know we do this. Guys, you'll have to let us know if this is true for you, but you identify yourself as characters in these shows and say, oh, that's most like this friend and that's most like that friend. Oh, that one's like me. So if we can connect and have ourselves as a character or someone we know as a character in your course, suddenly this is real. I've made a deeper connection. I can see the journey I'm going on because that character is showing me exactly what's happening in that metaphor of the connection I made with that character. The next part, and this is where the money is for you. So if you have all of these pieces, then you're ready to do number 5, which is, can you move your customer through the journey with clear steps? So do they understand when they finish the first step, how to do the next step? When they finish the next step, how to do the next step? That's going to be a critical part of having finishing of your courses. And the best way to get someone to do your next course is that they couldn't stop and they devoured. I want you to just say the word out loud, even if you can stay on mute, but just say the word devour. Devour. You want them to devour your content. And if you have these elements, if you're keeping your promises, they feel connected, they can measure and see change. They have a character that represents them. Yes, there we go. In the chat, I see some things coming up. So how do we move them through? We want them to devour it. And that means that they can't get enough. So by the time they get to the end, they want more. I studied a program called the Silva Method about 8 years ago now. And I heard of it from someone and I got interested and I ordered the book. I started the book. By the time I was a few pages into the book, I already ordered the online course so that I could hear the audios and go through the meditations that the book talked about. By the time the audios showed up, I had already gone forward and bought the live class to travel to Maryland from St. Petersburg at the time, Florida, to take the live class. So I couldn't even finish one without getting the next because it engaged me. That's what we're talking about with continuation. Get your customers so interested and so affected by your work that they will naturally move through the levels. And when we do this together starting in July, I'm going to actually walk you through the process of how do you put those little checkpoints. Highways have entrance points and exit points. And how do you help people navigate that depending on where they are in their journey with you? And then finally, that leads us to the champion level, which is if you have done all of this, then your customer now feels like and activates the champion inside of them. They are the champion in the story. We, as the course creators, are not the champion. The learner is the champion. We're guiding them through that hero's journey so they become the champion. And if we do that well, then they will also champion our courses. And what I mean by champion your courses, they're going to go out and say, hey, I did this course by James Moneypenny and it changed my life. I did this course by Matt. I did this course by Tim. I did this course by Sandra. I did this course by, I saw Natalie in the chat earlier. I did this course by these people and it changed my life. That becomes a champion for your work. And again, that causes continuation of the work as well. So why would we want to take the time to focus on these 3 steps to break down that customer journey in a way that takes us forward? Well, it really comes down to 2 simple things. It matters that we have this strategy in our course and don't just put content out because we have to make it personal to make it effective. So application equals engagement. If I can apply your course right now, if it can mean something to me right now, then I'm engaged. And if I'm engaged, I'm going to keep going. If I'm keep going, I can get a transformation. If I get a transformation, I'm going to tell people about it. So I'm creating a shared experience by making it personal. And the other part of that is, even if we're changing people's lives, sometimes they don't see it or they can't know how we've done that. So we really want to lay it out for them and make it clear that when they finish your course, they can say, oh, okay, I can see the difference in me, or I know what steps I finished that I was struggling with. So your perceived value, if you're going to waste my time, if I come to your class and you speak for 2 hours, never engaging me, not even on anything that I told you I want or need, probably that's going to create a problem for me. And I'm feeling like you're wasting my time and I might leave. Well, then you've wasted my money if you've wasted my time. So now I'm not coming back. But if you can have someone come, and they often have low expectations, and then you rock it, like, wow, I did not know I was going to get so much out of this presentation. This was amazing. I'm so excited. I got an increase in my return on effort by being here today. I have changed my life because something that I'm doing is going to hit better, land better, be more profitable, or have some benefit. And that's what we're really going for. And why we take the time long before we tell anyone we have a course and begin it to break down the pieces. What is the journey? What's the transformation we're going to provide? And when we can do that, then we get to win all the way across. So I want to share with you, in the Great Discovery, one thing that I have seen by your leaders is that they don't just want to put a bunch of content in front of you. They want to see you take these action steps to move forward in life, to make the differences, to have your success stories. And so what we did is, prior to this call today, we asked you, we ran a survey, and almost 50 of you answered the survey and told us exactly where you are in the journey and what you need. And so we found that marketing and selling the course is a big part of it for many of you. And while I cannot be that person to solve that, what I found is marketing is the outreach, but selling the course has everything to do with what I just taught you, which is meeting those specific 6 points, and the course begins to sell itself. So we are addressing that together. And you also said that structuring and organizing your content was an issue. What about how to make the lessons engaging and have people connect to that? Staying focused and staying on task, or finding the right topics or the right niche for yourself that would make sense, that you can both carry your expertise forward and be able to market that and make money with it, because you can deliver that promise. So these are some of the details that you told us when you answered our survey. And so what we've done is we've created a course for you together in partnership with the Great Discovery. I've created the course Catalyst, and this course Catalyst is an experiential program. So we're going to come together. This begins actually July 8th will be our first class. So you have until then to enroll. I encourage you to enroll quickly. So welcome to the Course Catalyst. This is the place where you come together and we're solving those problems. You said you don't know how to structure your course. We're going to do it together. This is not a sit and hear what Crystal has to say course. This is Crystal's going to tell you some information, and then we're going to all do it together. We're going to have open conversations. We're going to have lab work, sprints where we really focus on getting some things done. And within 6 weeks, just 6 weeks, we are going to get your course on the Great Discovery platform ready to start making you money. So for the 50% or more of you who told us, hey, I want to make a course right now, actually 78% of you said, I want to make a course now or within 3 months. And I'm not really sure how to make sure that it's a good course. And so these are the things that you told us you need. Marketing and selling the course. We have a module for that. It's monetization, planning, and delivery support. How do you plan for the money part of the course? You told us that you needed help structuring and organizing your content. So we said, well, hey, we have a step-by-step framework. I have templates. I have news. I made a tool, and we are revamping that tool. It's called the Course Architect, that does the structuring for you. So you don't have to think or hire someone to get to an outline. It will walk through the questions that someone would ask you and then deliver for you an outline that will help you with your course, including making sure that it's something you can meet the needs of your people. And then, so because you said you needed help with the lessons, we are walking you right through the 6 steps of that customer journey. Where are you meeting them and how? And then how about staying motivating and finishing your course? This is where the live support comes in. We'll have deadlines, accountability. This is a live experience course. This is not an evergreen course that we're running. Just want to be clear with that. You come, you work, you complete the task, and you will walk away in 6 weeks if you do this work with your course complete on the platform. And by the way, we are going to go into the technology. So if you've gotten it all together and you have your videos and you have all of that, but you just can't quite get it into the course, or you're feeling uncertain, all of that is part of this workshop. So we're going to make sure that you have certainty around your course and the impact it makes. Now, the majority of you said the number one obstacle for you to complete your course is time. So I have eliminated that problem by taking it literally down to a 6-week process. That time is not going to be an issue because we're going to spend 2 hours a week working on your course. Now, if you can't put 2 hours a week to your course for 6 weeks to make it evergreen, maybe this is not the right time for you, and that's okay. Don't judge yourself because maybe you have a lot going on. But if you're looking to develop a course where you can make it evergreen, where it can continue to produce for you, where you can buy a little bit of your time back, then maybe this is the right time and the right course for you. Because in 2 hours a week for 6 weeks, you are going to have your course loaded on the platform, and you're going to go from the part, perhaps you're in the spark, the planning spiral, the stuck, the invisible, but we're going to help you wake up what you're doing in your course and step into that empowered creator zone, because in your content creator's journey, there is no wrong or right place. There just is where you are. And we're going to walk you through that, hold your hand, get you through. It's called a done with you, because we're going to hold your hand and get you through all of those things that are stopping you from getting your course on the platform. So you are invited to join us for the Course Catalyst. It begins July 8th. So I encourage you to get those enrollments in before then. And we are going to put the link to that course right here in the chat. And that's it for me, Tim. If we want to open it up for any questions, or if you just want to continue on, that's it for me. Thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you, Dr. Crystal. Amazing information. And, that's most, as she said, there's really 2 major struggles. One is how you're going to market, from their survey that they did, how are you going to get your market and promote your courses? That's the power of the Great Discovery, is we've got a network of people that's growing bigger and bigger that market it for you. So that's pretty much solved. And the other part is really getting your content and everything in order. So working with Dr. Crystal on this Catalyst option is going to be a fantastic issue. Sandra is going to be dropping some links into the chat on that. And make sure you also tune in to the Course Creator and Author Lab. This is AI tools that you can do to streamline. It can't take away the genius that you've got, but it can streamline the organization and help you get it into a place in minutes rather than months, and then go through and work to polish it and refine it. And you can get that 6-week time down to a pretty quick minute there. So that'll be great. Thank you, Dr. Crystal. Appreciate you coming on. And we're a little bit behind time due to a unexpected messy interruption early on. You guys know what I'm talking about. But we'll just go in and we're going to jump into our next session coming on. As we've talked a little bit, all of you have heard about Great Discovery channels, and you think of, YouTube, and we think of Spotify, and we think of all these other things. And what do I need a channel for? Well, what you need a channel for is to reach the rest of the globe. It's about streamlining everything that you're doing, putting your growth on steroids, opening up to 8.2 billion people. I'm going to turn it over here to Sandra Harry, our co-CEO, and Bri Campano, and our founding affiliate, one of our founding affiliates, and an expert in online marketing and podcasting. Take it away, Bri. Take it away, Sandra.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much. I'm excited to be here. I love seeing so many people that are so interested in what I hope that you guys have gotten some incredible information, excited, and are pumped up and ready to do more with a Great Discovery, or hop on board and join us. One of the things that I think is one of the most incredible things that we have here is our community space, which is called channels. I'm going to share my screen really quickly and go through just what I love about channels. am I muted? No, I'm not. Okay. So channels on the Great Discovery. You can find these right from our homepage. And we're going to maybe walk through a little bit on how to find that when Sandra hops in this, but I wanted to go quickly why you might want to, have a channel on the platform. So on the Great Discovery, channels are your customizable community space. This is where you can connect on a daily basis with the people in your community. Bring people in at every different level. They're your rules, your people, and your content. And your income as well. So whether you're running a coaching program, if you're building a behind the scenes club for your podcast, which I think is really important to do, or you're just tired of showing up on social media, you need a channel. You've got to have a channel. It will make all the difference, and it makes the dollars. So I want you guys to take a look at this picture really quickly. It looks pretty innocuous. It's just looks like a glass of wine that's spilled on a carpet. If you know why this is not okay, or maybe you know what this would be, something that people would be posting. Why would someone post this? What are they trying to advertise? This was actually an actual photo that was used on a group in Facebook, and they were trying to sell something. Anybody have any ideas that you want to throw in the chat by any chance? And of course, my chat's on the wrong side of the screen, so I can't see it. There we go. If you don't know, it was for cleaning fluid. You're right, carpet cleaner. Everyone's on top of it. Carpet cleaner doesn't look like it's a big deal. Why would this be a bad post? Well, I'll tell you what, this is a violation of community guidelines. They have bots all over Facebook, on all over social media. And to the bots, this looked like blood on a carpet. It gave them a strike in this group. If they got 3 strikes, they would have lost their group. This group had close to 5,000 people in it, and it would have been gone. So you don't own the space you're in. It is not yours. You are renting it. You need to own your community, and you need to know your members. What are you doing on the community? What are you doing in this channel? You're offering free access to build trust. That's the basic starting point. You're creating paid memberships for your best stuff, so you can gate it, and you can have all different levels and different memberships. You can drop content consistently. You're not fighting algorithms. People know this is where your content is. You're not fighting all these algorithms to hope you get seen and all of those things. You can build a real community that goes with you, right? And you're not worrying about what are we posting, and you have control. This is your space. So very important. And you can serve the world because of our translations that are available in this place. I mean, it is the best and most important thing I think you can do as a creator, as a coach, so many different things that you have going. It is building that space with a community that will explode your business. If you have a podcast, it's an incredible place to build your podcast and have that extra something that they only have access to when they are in this specific group. So it will replace your Patreon. It'll replace your Buy Me a Coffee. It'll replace all of these subscribe things where you don't have as much control over who's in and what's going on. Here on the Great Discovery, you can bring your community in. You can monetize it. You can build that like, know, and trust factor and really get to know your audience, serve them in a better way. And you can do this around the world. And so that is one of the things I love so much about the Great Discovery. And I wanted to show you quickly, and then I'm going to toss it right over to Sandra. I am trying to be really smart on time, but here we go. I'm going to show you, this is where you find it. I am on the home page of the Great Discovery. And now I'm going to go down to channels. You're going to hit see all channels. Just click right here. And you'll be able to search somebody out. I'm going to grab my channel really quickly. I have 2 of them. I'm going to hop in my podcasting channel. This is the place where you can learn all about podcasting. I give free tips in here all the time, where you can join my membership, which I had previous to this on its own space. I had to pay for hosting and doing all that stuff and having my membership over there. Now it's all here in one place with my courses in a membership. And this is where I post things for the podcasters and to help them grow. And I can even post my podcasts and I can have them translated into so many different languages. This is a homeschooling podcast that we do, Alex and I do. And this was our special guest, Sandra Harry. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sandra and she can tell you a little bit about how the translations work and the Zoom opportunities.
Well, thank you, Bri, very much. And I hope everybody's starting to understand the power of these channels. I mean, I think Bri made the #1 point here, guys. In all the social media, you have no control of that. The Great Discovery is not going away. You have control of that. As Tim and I have said, we're not building a little $10 million company. This is a legacy. This is my late husband's legacy. This is something I have worked for years for, and it's not going away. We're not going to close your channels down unless you do something awful like what happened earlier, of course, right? But it's not going to go away. This is a community. We want you to bring your community to the Great Discovery. There's so much there to empower people with. So as Bri said, I'm going to show you a couple things. All right. So let me get my screen share up and get this going. Now, I have already logged in to save us a little time. We're running a little bit behind and we're going to try and get you guys back on track. Okay. So I'm logged in and I'm in my Demo 1 account. This is the account I use for all my demo stuff. And I'm going to go over to what tab? Learner, affiliate, or creators. I'm going to go to creators, right? Because a channel is something a creator develops and controls. So I'm going to go into channels. Now, these are my 3 channels. And yes, I have little test things and fun things in here, but this is the channel I want you guys to look at today. So what I'm going to show you is I'm actually going to show you what a post using Zoom is going to look like. All right. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to use this content provider workshop. Now I set the post up already, so to save us a little bit of time, but basically it's very, very simple to go through. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to edit this real quick so I can kind of show you guys what it looks like. So walking through, you select your channel. I want to put a post on a channel. I clicked the Zoom room. We have all these types of posts that you can put in a channel: text, video, audio, image, link, Zoom room. Okay. So that one's already done because we're in edit. So I've already populated my channel. I called this one and the content provider workshop, right? Which are great sessions. We actually hold a couple of those a week for free for all you content creators. When you do get your content ready, how do you get it on the platform? So there are content provider working sessions. We actually help you onboard your course. Come and join us and we show you how to do it. So what I've done is I have scheduled my start time for the 9th at 12 p.m. The duration is going to be 60 minutes. Is it reoccurring? So this is a weekly meeting that I have for my TGD community. I can set it as recurring. Is it active? Now, I have already linked in my Zoom information. Now, guys, we have the Zoom embed built, and I'm using our master Zoom, and you guys will see why today, okay? One thing we're waiting for, the very last thing is we're waiting for an approval from Zoom. Once we have our approval, you will be able to use your own Zoom. You will sign into your own Zoom. You will control your own Zoom through the Great Discovery platform and be able to use the live translation tool that I showed you earlier. Hence, you're in Chrome, right? You've got to be in Chrome. So I'm going to save these changes, okay? And that's all there. So now, if I am going to go in and I'm going to launch my Zoom, I'm in my view of my, as the channel owner, I'm in the view of my post. I'm just going to go down here. Now I can't start it because we're in the Zoom. It's going to give us a little error, but I would click here to start this at the appropriate time. And once again, your Zoom controls are completely controlled here. It's going to give us an error and say, Zoom is, we don't want to do that, right? So do you see that the screen here looks just like the live events screen? It's using the same technology we use in the live events. When you actually broadcast that Zoom, you'll have all your Zoom controls just like you do, but they will be embedded in the website. So it's very, very cool. And so Bri's talking to me in Spanish and I'm in English. I can't speak Spanish. I'm going to go up here, use my live translation tool, and I'm going to put in Spanish, right? and to English. And when I start the session, I'm going to start my translating, and it's going to translate verbally to me. And it's also going to give me the captions, and it's going to come through the Zoom. Remember, you must be on Chrome. You will be able to use your own Zoom account, and we're just waiting for the last approval from Zoom. As we all know, those big companies can be kind of slow. So this is how, as a channel owner, I'm going to broadcast through my channel. So now, how does it look if I'm the user, like Bri just showed us from the user side, from the website? So I'm going to flip over to another browser. Did that come up, Bri? Now we can see the homepage of the website.
Yep.
So again, how do I get to a channel? I'm going to scroll down on the homepage, just like Bri did. Here's the channels. I'm going to say CL channels. We're going to go over here, and they're going to come up. Now my TGD community is here. I could also go and find the channel owner, the creator, and I could click there and it would bring them up. I could type in the name of the channel, or if I was looking for Bri's and I knew it had podcasting in it, I could type in podcast and it would bring it up. The search is extremely powerful. So I want to view this webinar, this Zoom coming up on this onboarding. I'm going to come in. First of all, there's the memberships. Okay, this is home. This shows all the posts, and it shows the different types of posts. I made this one public so you guys could all see it. You could all actually go in there and click on join the meeting now. Don't join it though, because you'll knock yourself out of this one, because it is the same Zoom. Okay. I've got other posts out here too. That one's public again. This one is locked. You'd have to join and become a member to see this one. So this is from the user's view, okay, not the creator's view. So anyway, you can kind of play with this. This is kind of a little test channel that's out there you guys can play with. You can look at the memberships. Actually, I just have one right now that's Explore, so that's fine. And then About. But let's go ahead and all you have to do is come here at the appropriate time, click on Join the Meeting, fill in your information. Now, does this look familiar? Just like what we had on the Join page, right? I can type today. And where's and US. Okay, so those are required, so you can capture that information. I'm going to click join, and then I'm going to stop because it'll kick me out of the webinar, but it will come up and look at just like the join page on the live events, guys. It's going to look the same thing. Now, Bri is on this end. She speaks Spanish and I'm speaking English. So what's Bri going to do? She's going to flip these. She's going to go, I'm speaking English, right? And she wants to hear me in Spanish. And so she would do English to Spanish, okay? And then she would start that translator, and she would hear me presenting from the first screen I just showed you. She'd hear me speaking in English, or speaking from English to Spanish, okay? So it's very, very cool. And I think you guys are actually going to love it. So I'm going to go back here and back out of this so I don't knock myself out of the Zoom. Now, I do not have a video post on this. Sorry, guys, I did not quite get that up. But the live language or the on-demand translations is going to work the same thing as if we went to a course. Where there's a video, you're going to click. The little on-demand. It's going to translate just like I showed you earlier. Same functionality, same all on-demand translations. So you can just use that same technology. And we'll be getting up some more help videos. We just got that launched. To show you guys how to do that so that you've got them in an available place. All right, well, I'm going to hand it back over. Bri, is there anything else that we should cover?
No, I love it. I think we did a really great job. You gave a great overview of that. But I think, your community is your space. Get on a channel, start building it out. You got to show it some love. You've got to keep those posts coming in there. And you can actually connect with people and have conversation in the chat. Like, I don't know if we even showed that, but there's space for people to comment on things, to like your post. There's so many ways that you can connect, just like if you had a group on a social media is yours and you don't have to worry about it. So
exactly, Bri is exactly right. All the same functionality. In fact, we do have some new stuff that's going to be coming out in the channels very, very soon. So keep posted for that, and we'll be letting the network know as soon as we get some of these upgrades up. But a lot of exciting stuff coming. All right, Tim, I'll hand it back to you, and you are on mute.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Bri. Amazing stuff. As we're talking about these channels, I was just thinking, as it dawned on me, as Bri was talking early on about, you go to Facebook jail, you got 3 strikes, get in your grooves, and you lose the whole thing. But you can link your channel to your Facebook group, right? And do all your presentations and material in there in 120 languages. You can have offers, you can have sales, and everybody that registers, what happens? They're going into your CRM. The system will automatically create a marketing funnel for them. James and Ed are going to be talking about that in just a few minutes. The power of channels, guys, is one, everything that's in there, you're getting a full 70% rev share on it. You're still going to drive free courses and put free offers on the other part of the platform because it drives traffic to you. You're still going to put premium courses on the other side of the platform as well. But driving traffic to your channel is amazing. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you. We're going to jump on to our next speaker. And as we've been talking about channels, Bri's background has been in podcasting. She is one of the best podcasting coaches out there. And we have the blessing of having one of the other best podcasting coaches on here, Mr. Jason Wilson, who's recently joined us as our affiliate director in Latin America. Now he lives in Colombia. He's American background and heritage, and speaks fluent Spanish, as an absolute rock star when it comes to podcasting. And so, if you think about podcasting for a second with the Great Discovery Channel, let's take Joe Rogan, massive global podcast, right? Only in English. What happened if he even took his replays and put them in the Great Discovery Channel? What would happen to Joe Rogan then? He would be out of the world, And so all of that comes from, one, talent. You have to have a great podcast channel to be able to do that. You have to have a good structure to have it maximize the effectiveness of your podcast. So I'm going to turn it over to Jason Wilson and welcome him onto the management team here at the Great Discovery as he's beginning to expand in Latin America and a specialty focus on podcasting. Take it away, Jason.
Thank you so much, Tim, and welcome everybody to this wonderful platform. And I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to speak here today and to be a part of this. I got to start by saying that I was actually introduced to the Great Discovery from Dr. Stan Harris, also known as Mr. Breakthrough, about almost 2 months ago. We had a conversation on Zoom, and I met him from LinkedIn. And at the end of our conversation, he said, Jason, with everything that you do with podcasting and, everything that you do for content creation as well, you need to be a part of the Great Discovery. And so, he introduced me to the first meeting, and I met some wonderful people. That's part of it, is the kinds of people that you can get connected to in here. I mean, it's just amazing. And then the other part of that is all of these wonderful tools that you can use to basically 10x or upgrade your podcasting skills and also be able to offer these things to your clients. Just to give you a small idea of what I'm talking about, can I share my screen? Let me try.
Should be all set.
Okay, so I think all of you can see this. So I'm inside of the AI Genius Club and using the Genius Image Model tab. So I created these wonderful photos for one of my clients. This is part of one of the things I want to be able to do for my clients is that, when you have a podcast client that has a show and maybe they need to have a thumbnail made for their guest or maybe even for themselves, and they don't have high quality photos, I want to be able to offer this service to my clients. And as you can see these photos, I mean, they do not look like AI pictures. I mean, these are authentic looking, realistic pictures that you would think that someone had made at a professional photo shoot or something, right? So, I mean, this is just an example of what you can do with this Genius Image Model tab. I mean, completely amazing. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. But getting into the story of how I, got into podcast production and do everything that I'm doing right now, is that for me, it was allowing myself to be used by God in this way. And the way I got into this was back in 2020 during the pandemic. A friend of mine called me and asked me, "Hey, Jason, can you come to Bogota and help me to manage my English Institute for a couple of weeks?" I had already spent 20 plus years as an ESL teacher here in Colombia. So I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll help you with that, no problem." So I got to the Institute, did my job, and at the end of the 2 weeks, it was time for me to come home, and I was going to take the bus from Bogota back to the town where I'm currently living. And I got to the bus terminal, and everybody was standing outside, standing in lines, and everything was dark on the inside of the bus terminal. And I said, "What's going on?" So I had a conversation with a couple of people, and they said, "Well, the whole city of Bogota has been shut down due to the pandemic. There was no news or anything, no warning, no nothing." And so, I had to go back to the apartment where I was staying from my friend, called him, let him know what was going on. He said, "Jason, don't worry about it. You can stay here as long as you need." And then I called my wife, and of course, she was highly, highly upset. I couldn't go home. And the next day was her birthday, to make it even worse. And so I hung up the phone with her, and I said, "Okay, Lord, what would you have me to do while I'm here in Bogota?" And he said, "Start a podcast." And ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at somebody whose biggest fear was public speaking. I said, I don't want to do that, but okay, I don't have a choice. So let me figure out how to do this. And so I came up with the idea of organizing an online event through LinkedIn. So I sent out a bunch of DMs trying to find a keynote speaker for this event. And it just so happened that Sugar Ray Leonard's son, Ray Leonard Jr., answered my DM. He said, "Jason, I would love to speak at your event. Let's do this." I said, "Well, okay, proof positive. This is something that God wants me to do." And so the night of the event, 15 minutes before, there's a blackout in the neighborhood where I'm staying. I mean, this has never happened before in Bogota the whole time I had been there. And so I called up everybody that was, signed up for the event to let them know what happened. And I had to call Ray Leonard Jr. as well. And he said, "Jason, don't worry about it. This kind of thing happens when you're trying to do something positive." I said, "You know what? That's right." I hung up the phone. 10 minutes later, the power comes back on. We're able to do that event. And so I wrote about that whole experience on LinkedIn maybe like 6 months later. And by that time, things had opened back up in Bogota and pretty much all over Colombia. So I had written this post on LinkedIn talking about that whole experience. And Marvelous Marvin Hagler's son, James, made a comment on that post. And we became friends through talking, in the DMs on LinkedIn. And I said, "Hey, man, I have this podcast show and I'm looking for a co-host. Would you like to be my co-host on this show?" He said, "Yeah." So we ended up, starting this podcast show called Living on Purpose. We interviewed, people in the entertainment industry, other athletes, and also legacy fighters from famous boxers in that field as well. And so, that's been my journey, starting from the very beginning of podcast production. And right now I produce about 9 shows. And one of my podcast clients is here now. Her name is Christine Bailey. So, coming back to the great discovery, what I wanted to be able to do and what I think would be highly, highly advantageous for other podcast producers or maybe even podcast hosts as well is, yes, have your own channel and, be able to stream your shows here live. And maybe it could be a recorded version of that as well. I want to be able to write a book and have an audio version for that. And I also have a Bible study course called Connection to the Promise, where I talk to people about spiritual dream interpretation and spiritual warfare. So I want to be able to create a course for that. And so, for me, the possibilities are just endless for things that, I can do in order to, number one, market everything that I do and also help other people with everything that I'm doing. So I think that, the Great Discovery is a wonderful way that you can increase possibilities for reaching people in other countries and other languages. And as Tim said, I'm the affiliate director for Latin America. So we're talking about Mexico, all of South America, Spain, Brazil, all of these countries where I can now reach people in those markets. And as a matter of fact, Tim introduced me to another friend of his called JR. And we had a talk this morning. And so JR, come to find out, he's based in Orlando and he has friends in all over Latin America. But the thing is that he needs to learn how to create a course here and create a channel as well. But the thing is the language barrier. He doesn't have 100% command of English. So, I can help him to basically learn all of this stuff. I got to learn it first, right? I think, somebody else made the important point that, don't try to take on everything at once. So, I started with the image tab, master that, and then go on to other subjects here. But I think that if I can master how to create a channel, how to upload your videos to that channel, and then also be able to translate any meeting that you have on Zoom, I think that's the way to go for me, mastering those 3 topics and then branch out to other things on here. But as Mark Cuban said, if you're in Gen Z, if you're a millennial or anybody older than that, mastering AI is the way to go for the future. And also, if you want to be able to reach people in other languages, cultures, continents, you need to be on the Great Discovery. It's the wave of the future. And, I'm so blessed to be here again. Tim, thank you so much for having me. And everybody, I'm looking forward to meeting you as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate that. And I love your story. We had a similar story when we did our first global simulcast. We're hit by 2 hurricanes, not 1, but 2. And we actually had the second hurricane come on the day of our global simulcast. And so we ended up going out to a place in Orlando, setting up a generator. And we got it up. We got it going 48 hours straight through worldwide. It was quite an event. But sometimes whenever you are doing something good, there's some things tend to get in the way. But if you're on the right path, they're always overcome. And it's to teach you faith. That's really what it's about. Faith and perseverance. Go for
Absolutely.
your dream. Let it go. It's for you. Let's do it. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate you coming on. And
Thank you.
as we're jumping into our next session here, before we do that, I want to give everyone an opportunity here. What you've seen throughout the day, whether it was the Great Discovery's global community, 120 languages, putting your content out, reaching people around the world, expanding your market. As I was listening to Jason talking about our good friend J.R. Roman, who's in Orlando, he's been struggling. He speaks pretty good English, but getting to be able to get enough clarity to be able to teach others has been a challenge. Now, with the deployment of the live Zoom translation, JR can tune into anything that we on. He's probably on here right now listening to me in Spanish, right? So the coaching, the training, the restraints, the what we call in the Great Discovery course, the restraining forces, we're working to eliminate them because it's all about empowerment. Even in the Bible, it talks about in the last days, knowledge will increase. How is knowledge going to increase? Well, we're going to help increase it. We're going to take your knowledge, get it out to the people that need it the most, and show you a way to get those rewards that are yours. Every gift that we have is that you have a spiritual gift, you have a gift from above. It's not for you. It's for you to deploy and give out to others. When you give it away, you get more. That's really what it's all about. So we're going to go and I want to do a quick share and show you, those of you, how to get started. And we're going to jump into things that you can do to make your efficiency go to the next level. Clobber those restraints of language barriers, those restraints of being able to reach others, those restraints of content creation taking so long, those restraints of how do you get a video, those restraints of monetary expenses. and we're going to show you some things that are absolutely breakthrough.
Not
And we're
as
going
good.
to do it right now. Looks like we've got a little bit of background noise. James, if you can mute them, that'd be great.
Working on it.
And let's see what we've got. So on this, if you're viewing from the Great Discovery platform, right? If you're linking on, you see a page that's like this. Scroll down just a little bit. You're going to see these 4 get started buttons. These are call to action buttons. They're just like the ones that you have in your channel when you get set up that are programmable. You can add up to 4 of them, put it in whatever direction that you want them to go. Go to your boot camp. It can go to your free course. It can go to your next live coaching session, whatever that you need to. You can price them however you want. You've got full flexibility, but these are already coded. I'd encourage you, if you want to get started as a creator, click down here on the Get Started as a Creator button. You want to get started as an affiliate or as a marketer. You don't have any content, but you get what we're doing. You want to be involved, get started as an affiliate. Just do it now. You don't have to wait for perfect conditions. As it says in Ecclesiastes, you wait for perfect conditions, nothing will ever get done. You got to do it. You got to go. Just take action. You believe it, make it happen. Want to get started in the AI Genius Club? You can. If you're already a pro, got a creator pack or a transformation pack, and you want to upgrade to this new pack, and we're going to get into the meat of how that works, click on this button that's over here. That's a little bit dulled out on the yellow button, and you'll have to log in for that, but that'll upgrade you and update your subscriptions and probably even save you money from what you've already got and get all these new powerful tools that you're going to see in just a minute. Now, if you're not, you're out viewing from someone else's website, you're on Zoom, just go to thegreatdiscovery.com, get the username of the person that referred you, and then you'll go up here and click on this green button. That'll pop you in and give you the options to get in and get started. Remember, the only thing better than super low cost and being able to reach the world is getting super low cost and being able to reach the world, and in fact, getting it free and getting paid simply by helping 3 others. Share your gifts. What did you learn today? Tell 3 other people about it. Get them get started. Your whole package is free. Your monthly costs are free. I don't know how you can go wrong. It's kind of a win-win-win-win-win, and you're in, as Dr. Breakthrough would say. Let's go ahead and we're going to shift into our next session that's on here, and that is basically all about efficiency. The AI tools and CRT aren't about replacing you, they're about assisting you to be able to get the tedious work done so that you can take your genius, your gifts and talents, and get it out to the world to make a difference. That's what life is all about. It's not all about the next, great car that you get. Those are all great, but it's what you do with the talents that you have. Are you going to invest your talents, or are you going to bury them in the sand? Bury them in the sand is not going to get you very far or get you a lot of rewards. It's getting them out there. And that's what our mission is here with the Great Discovery, to help you get your talents out. So with that, I want to bring up our next speaker is going to be James Moneypenny. And James is our Executive Vice President of Sales. I think anybody that's worked with James, put a 10 in the chat box. You understand what this man is about. This guy is the most caring, helpful, hardworking, diligent, and focused guy I think I've ever met. And he's going to partner up with Ed Garza, who is the chief architect of the AI systems that we're pulling together, an amazing coach. And the 2 of them together have a heart for people to really do things to make things easy for you. Oh, there's a lot to learn, but you don't need to learn it on your own. And we're going to give you an overview of some tools that are mind-blowing. They're available to you, and you can get them for free. Yes, I said the F word again. James, want to come take it away, my friend?
Yeah, thanks so much, Tim. And I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, share my screen, and bring up a PowerPoint. I know a lot of you have seen me actually demonstrate, train on, present, go in deep on a lot of these tools. But what I'm going to do today, especially since we have a lot of guests, is I'm going to go through and really give you a higher level overview of what's available in the Great Discovery AI Genius platform. And one of the, some of the reasons why you want to share this with people to help them in their business and for them to save some money. So this PowerPoint rocking and rolling here. So we have over 70, 65, 70 AI taps. A tap is a tactical AI powered productivity solution. Only I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through a handful of them and show you that when you really start adding up, there's so many reasons why people will want to be part of this system. So I'm going to cover quickly the Genius courses that are available on the Great Discovery and in the platform, Genius resources, Genius writing taps, Genius video taps, Genius image taps, Genius business taps, and the Genius website taps. And so I'm going to start out here with courses. You know, I've taken a lot of courses over the years, and really within the past year and a half, 2 years, I actually invested over $7,000 in a training course. And, you know, when you look at the amazing courses that are available in the AI Genius Club, you can't buy them for the price of being part of the AI Genius Club. You know, I even whittled it down to, I say, okay, well, those courses have a value of $100 a month. Well, I'd say they have a value of a lot more compared to what I've paid for training courses in the past, and you get them as part of the AI Genius Club. But guess what? You don't have to pay $100 a month. They come free as part of your subscription with the AI Genius Club membership. And not only those amazing courses on the Great Discovery platform, however, we also have a tremendous amount of AI training right on the AI Genius Club platform. And when I've been researching the different AI training that's out there in the marketplace, you would literally have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to get the quality of training that's in this AI Genius Club. Remember that $100 a month. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the Resource Center. So this is the Resource Center you see popped up right here where my mouse is kind of circling around. And there's a ton of things on there, but I'm going to limit it to just talking about the community. I work with a lot of companies, or have worked with a lot of companies over the years, that they pay a substantial amount of money to be part of a community where you have peers and team members who will give you advice, give you input, show you examples of their work, inspire you, show you how to follow their proven steps to have things that really work in the industry. And you see, this is just one example of the resources that's in this community. And I encourage you all, if you're not already actively in the community, interacting with the other creators and affiliates in this community, get in there, because just like Ron I will here, there's tons and tons of them that are adding huge value to your business. And that's just one small part of the Genius resources. There's other things that are in here, which include tons and tons of additional trainings, Super Saturday trainings, daily trainings, people sharing. You see this cute little cat down here, people sharing, you know, some of the work that they've done to inspire you and help you do what you need to do to really be successful in this business. This is like having free coaches that are available to you, and many of them are up, you know, late at night interacting and trying to help everybody succeed in their business. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next section, which is actually the writing tabs. I'm only going to talk about two things in our AI Genius writing tabs. And those two things are the 30-day social media Genius, where with a click of a button, you can literally create 30 days of social media. You see some samples here on the screen, complete with the hashtags that are going to get you the absolute best results and all kinds of really cool eye-catching images. And you see a couple of image samples here in minutes. I mean, literally, you can put in a URL, or you could click the button over here that looks like a little microphone and say, hey, I'd like social media about this particular product and service. Well, you know what? In the past, I've been paying over $30 a month to utilize a social media tool to help me with my social media. And I did not get anything near the quality of what you can get out of these writing tabs, the social media tab. The other one I'm gonna talk about is Wow. You know, Wow is, I'd hate to even say the names in the same sentence, but Wow is like Chat GPT on steroids because it can do so much more. And if anybody subscribed to Chat GPT, you know, it's $20 a month. So just these tools, not talking about all the other 12 tools in here, this is a $50 a month savings for me because I'm not paying for Chat GPT anymore. I'm not paying for social media, the social media tools anymore, because I have them as part of the AI Genius Club. So, you know, life after the AI Genius, well, now I get all of these tools and a whole lot more for free as part of my subscription. Now, next, let's talk about the Video Genius tabs. We have over 10 video creation tools. 8 of them are absolutely free. A couple of them use a few small credits if you create something. And I was paying for a video creation tool prior to having this $75 per month to try to create videos that were nowhere near as good as the videos that you have here. Now, what I'm showing on the screen right here is the Video Genius tab. This is the simplest one to use. Literally, I have 5-year-old children that are using this. You can simply pop in a web link, just like you see here where my mouse is circling around. You see a web link in here, and click generate video, and it'll generate a beautiful video. Or you can click text and you can, you know, pop in an idea in that text area as well, and it'll create a video. Well, instead of $75 a month, you know, this is almost free. At least 8 of them are completely free, but I can create a incredible video. I'm going to show you an example of one of them with this system for 22 cents on demand instead of being forced to pay $75 a month on months when I'm not even needing to create a video and I'm getting much higher quality video. So let me show you the kind of video that you can create with this Video Genius tab. This is one where I just put in a link, and it was to one of the courses on the Great Discovery. And so here's an example of what you can do with this tool.
Are you ready to unleash the book inside you and transform your expertise into a compelling narrative? Welcome to the Book Genius Virtual Bootcamp, where your journey to becoming an author begins. Discover a profitable book topic that aligns perfectly with your skills and your audience's needs. Learn to create a strategic book outline through proven frameworks that set you up for success. Get ready to write your first draft live with guidance to overcome any writing challenge. Gain the confidence and tools to push through the writer's block and beyond. Walk away with a personalized plan to complete your manuscript with unstoppable momentum. Join us and let's turn your book dream into a powerful reality at the Book Genius Virtual Bootcamp.
Now, in the past, building franchise companies, I would have paid over $10,000 to create that video. Now I have it as part of the system, virtually free of charge. And let's talk now about the image tabs. You know, we have about 8 different tabs that create images of different types. This example I'm showing you here is hyper-realistic images. Now I say up here, prior to having AI Genius platform, I was investing $40 a month to be able to use images. What do I mean by that? Well, I was subscribed to stock photo sites, whereas paying monthly, and I could download so many images each month. If I exceeded that, I'd have to pay more. But they were all Me Too images, images that everybody on the internet were using. And you could go to my website or somebody else's website and go, oh yeah, I know where they got that from. I'm not gonna say the name of the stock photo stock company out of respect. They're a good company, but you know, I was all Me Too. Here on this system, I can speak instead of having to search for hours to find that perfect image or near perfect image or settle for an image on a stock thing. I can literally click a button, speak into existence the image that I want for what I'm doing, get exactly what I want, then I own the image. Nobody else has it. You're not going to see it all over the internet. I no longer look like a Me Too company, but guess what? I no longer have to invest that $40 per month because why? Well, with the AI Genius image tabs, I get them all free. And also something else I couldn't do with past stock photos was create images of myself almost anywhere, any place, doing anything. So you can see me up here. I'm projecting that I'm going to be up on the stage at the Great Discovery, getting the Golden Globe Award for helping the most people empower their lives through knowledge. But I've not been there. That's not really a picture of me. It was created with the image taps. All of these cool little images are all, they look like a photo, but they were created with the image taps. And now I'm going to go and talk a little bit about business taps prior to me having access to the AI Genius Club. Many of you have heard that, and I'm only going to talk about 2 things of about 12 different business taps that we have in here. So you think about, if you really add them all up, how much I'm really saving. But I'm going to talk about the CRM. You see it circled in red, and the Genius Vault tab. See, many of you have heard that prior to having this CRM, I was paying almost 120 a month for a CRM system for about 16, 17 years. Well, now I have a CRM system with AI Genius Club at no extra charge as part of the system. The Genius Vault gives you 5 terabytes of storage for anything that you want to store on it. Well, 5 terabytes of storage was costing me over $30 a month. So that's another $150 a month I was paying in subscription fees. And now with the business taps and the AI Genius, I don't have to pay that $150 anymore. It's actually free with the subscription. And next I'll talk about website taps. Now this is a really low number for reality, but I wanted to keep it low just for an example. Of all of the website taps, I'm only going to talk about one, which allows you to create your own website and host it right on the system without any hosting fees. And guess what? Have you ever had to deal with SSL, just secured socket layers, where you have to pay annual fees for that? Folks, I gotta tell you, I was paying more than $100 a month between hosting, maintenance, and SSL certificates. Now, I don't even have to pay anything because it's all available and part of the AI Genius Club membership. And guess what? You can create, this is just an example of one of the beautiful websites I've created, and I can have as many of them I want to on this system. And guess what? Well, it's free with my subscription. So you add up all those numbers that I just gave you. And remember, we're only talking about a handful of the taps, not even all of the taps. That's over $500 a month that I'm able to save with the AI Genius platform. Not to mention the higher quality of everything else I'm receiving. $565 a month. And so if you think about it, I've gone from $565 a month down to $59 a month, but not really, because as some of you know, if with our friends and family program, if you just refer 3 people, yours is free. Well, obviously I've referred more than 3 people, so I'm paying 0. So I really do have it for free, but better than that, since I chose to be an affiliate, well, you know, I get to make money with it. So the choice really is clear when it comes to this system and the Great Discovery. Join the Great Discovery. If you haven't joined the Great Discovery yet, join it and start sharing this incredible system with your friends, your family, your coworkers, and your neighbors. And give them the opportunity to earn global residual income with tools that everybody wants and needs in this day and time, and an incredible opportunity to further their education. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. I was going to walk through on how you would get started, but Tim just finished doing that. I'm going to take my last 2 minutes that I have, and I'm actually going to bring up a dear friend of mine, and her name is Christine Dean, and I just want her to share a little bit about her experience with Great Discovery since she started and after she got started with the AI Genius Club. Christine, take it away.
Well, so I am so grateful that James introduced me to the Great Discovery. When he first mentioned it to me, I was so busy. I was like, oh, I have so many projects going on. I really want to do this. So I'm just going to hop in real quick, sign in. I'm going to recruit a couple of people, and then I'm going to go finish my projects and come back. I came back and I was like, oh my goodness, my business has actually been growing without me. And I know anybody who's caught my video before where I've talked about this, it said, oh, I have 1,000 people. Well, now I have almost 2,500 people. It's amazing how much my business has grown with the Great Discovery. I turn around and I show the AI Genius Club to people. I've used it to create logos, help people with book writing. I mean, it's amazing. It's just such a great program. The AI Genius Club has really exploded my business and my ability to recruit people into the Great Discovery. So this is an opportunity that is waiting for you. It depends on when you want to pick it up and run with it. The sooner you get started, the more impact you get to have. So I love the Great Discovery. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always answering questions about the Great Discovery, and I love to help. So feel free to reach out. Christine Dean, the Networking Diva.
Thank you, Christine. And with that, Tim, I'm going to turn it back over to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, James. Amazing information, and if you look at the AI Genius Club as just part, we've got the AI Business Pack that includes the Genius Club, and not only are you getting yours for free, but you're getting paid. Every time someone anywhere in the world buys a course in 120 languages that we translate content into, anything that's on the site, any boot camp, any sale, any training, any coaching, you're overriding it, whether you make it directly or indirectly, what country they're in, what currency.
Dame un segundo, mi gente.
Paid on all of it. Hello.
Hang on, I'll find it.
But that's pretty powerful. Yet what we're also talking about here is because we're a course-based program. So we have courses, we have content, we have a lot of different things. And one of the biggest obstacles is, as you heard from Dr. Crystal Gifford just a little while ago, is you've got your content up here. How in the world are you going to get it out here and to format it and lay it out and compelling and engaging and promote it so it's not just sitting there? Well, the Great Discovery has got it all covered for you. Get that extra coaching and assistance from experts like Crystal. Yet here's the key to it. All the formatting that used to take you months, you can literally do in minutes. You wanted to format a course with videos, with audio, with quizzes, with exams, with questionnaires, with certifications. Want to put it in 120 languages. You can do it all with some of the tools that Ed Garza is going to be sharing with you in just a minute. More importantly, what Ed is also going to show you is I have a lot of people, friends. I was talking with Jim Britt earlier. Jim's written, I don't know how many books, and he's got many of them that are back on the shelf. He wrote them years ago. I figured, well, they already hit the bestseller list. They're off. Nobody's really looking for those anymore. So he goes to write a new one. But you know what? All of his books are in English. What Ed's going to show you now is using the Creator and Author Lab to not only create courses and books from scratch, but also to repurpose your existing material, convert it into an audio book, and put it in any language in the world. And on the Great Discovery platform, with an army of affiliates growing and expanding, and you're promoting your content around the world, you've not only got a whole new profit center that's 10x, 20x, 100x what you had before, but you've also got a significant empowerment effort that's going on. Your knowledge, your gifts that were held by the small group of purchasers that you got. Maybe it's a good sized group, but it's not 8.3 billion people that can all access it. You're open to 199 additional countries and territories that you could not reach before effectively. So Ed's going to show you how to do that. With that, I want to bring up Ed Garza. Here's our Chief AI Architect, a great and amazing coach. He has a heart for people and loves the Lord. He's a fantastic fellow. Bring up Ed Garza. Take it away, my friend.
Thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate it. Great to be here with you guys. And thank you so much for your commitment today and the time that you've invested in your future, because you obviously are invested in learning, and you've been observing all day. So I'll just tell you what you're doing just so you understand, and you can Google this. It's what I call many times what's called the OODA loop. That's OODA, OODA. We're doing a lot of oohs today, right? We're observing, we're getting oriented, right? And you're probably getting close to a decision like, wow, I really like this. I'm going to commit to this. That's part of the D. And then the A is the most important part, and that's the action. That is a loop, and it's a successful loop. Now, many of us go through a lot of OODA loops a day. We're going to go through a quick OODA loop in creating an audiobook on a book that both James and I have worked on and we've edited. So you don't want to go to your audiobook until you've gone through the editing process, right? Because you're committing to that as well before you publish that. So that's obviously a first thing that you want to do. And we've added a lot of great tools in the platform for even editing your book, getting a critique on it. And the critique holds nothing back. If you upload your book, it will critique your book in a good way. Matter of fact, when you see it, you'll see the tool. It gives you all the feedback you need that you could just probably hand it off to an editor and they'll know exactly what to do to get your book to the next level. And plus what their expertise added onto it. So we've added a lot of great tools for the author lab and the creator lab. And we're constantly adding things in there to add value, to help you create faster, to not neglect your genius and move forward. So let me go in and let's just get busy and look in the app. And I'm going to share sound so you can hear the audio when it's done because it happens really fast. And let's get busy. All right. So when you're in the AI platform, the author lab and the creator lab are right here towards the bottom left on the folders. And you access the folders right here just like that. Okay. All right. So the author lab is here. You can see I'm pushing it up and down. And then the creator lab is here. So we're going to look at the author lab. And at the very top is the audio book. And of course, we got book covers, amazing book covers. Step one, the big idea. Step two, the outline, and then it starts writing it. We have a ghost writer in there. We got a children's book a writer, and here's that book critic, right? Genius. I mean, it really critiques your book, right? I just got to show this to you guys because this is new. Some of you haven't even seen it. You upload your book, and it gives you like all kinds of cool stuff, as you can see here: writing styles and voice, grammar, mechanics, next steps. This is like next steps and its rationale for its critique of you, genre analysis, competitive titles, market trends, success metrics, market positioning, public pathway, marketing considerations. I mean, it gives you a huge amount of information based on your book, and you could tell it, hey, this is my genre. What's your genre? Nonfiction, fiction, romance, crime, science fiction, fantasy, novel. You choose the stage. For example, what are you going to do? Are you going to publish it yourself, or is it a personal project? Are you building a brand? Or what stage is it a draft, a concept, right? And you put your book title in there. And by the way, what language do you want it to be in the critique? All right. And it gives you a great leg up after you finished it. So all that is important before you get to the audiobook. But let's go to the audiobook here. As you can see, I've made a lot of audiobooks here listed right here because it's so easy and it's super fast. We're going to create our audiobook for this book. We're going to do one chapter. So I'm going to pull the book up now here because I have it on my desktop so we can all look at it. So here it is right here. You can see that book cover there, that book cover. Let me hide my floaty things here so you can see it and move the videos. So this was a book cover that was designed in the book cover app that we have right here. James and I wrote this called Behavioral Marketing. Learn how to use psychology to influence users' behavior and boost conversions effectively. I think people would be interested in that. The psychology of conversions. Here's the table of contents. Harnessing the bias of emotional triggers. Building credibility through social proof and the scarcity and urgency as drivers. Persuasive psychology and web experiences, psychology in your conversion strategy, from conversion to mastering psychology, and some final thoughts. little disclaimer, of course, which is important to have there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the introduction and we're going to make it into a audiobook. So the name of the book is Behavioral. So I'm going to put the name of the book here. Okay. Let's paste that there. Try that again. One more time. Copy. And let's paste that. There we go. And the author is Ed Garza, and I'm going to put in James Penny. Okay. Capitalize his name there. This is for internal purposes, so you could find it later. Okay. This is not public. It's not going to read this part of it. Okay. And it gets the book description. It's chapter 1. Now, the cool thing is here, I could use an AI voice or I could use a custom voice. So if I choose a custom voice, I have my voice or my wife's voice. She's in Spanish. And you could clone your voice for $4.99 a month, and you could use it on any of the tools in the platform, such as the audiobook or the podcast tool or the video app that James showed you. You know, you could use it throughout the whole places. And you can even make yourself a video of you speaking. Just upload a picture of you, clone your voice, and now you don't have to get on camera anymore. So you can clone your voice really easy right here. I'm not going to clone the voice. I'm not going to use a clone voice today. I'm going to use Brian, because he does a lot of our audiobooks. And of course, this is the introduction, right? So I'm just going to say intro. That's for me. And look, I can do it in any language I want. You know, of course, this is in the natural language here. So if you know you're like Italiano or France or Spanish or Dutch, right? Or you name it, Romania, Turkey, right? And a lot of Oriental countries as well. You could choose what you want to do on that. And it needs a book description. But I'm going to go ahead and take that introduction of the book right here. And I'm going to copy just page by page. If you have it in a Word document, it's a little bit easier. And I'm going to expand this a little bit so I can see it. You could do 30,000 characters per chapter, which is quite a big chapter. It can, you know, I think you could pretty much cover your entire book. You can do different chapters, obviously, as well. So I'm just doing some spacing here. You don't necessarily need to do that, but I'm doing it just so I can keep myself sane. All right. And then end it on from. So let's go back over here. And let's get the second page here. So I'm going to do it section by section to make sure I don't miss anything. Copy. Yep, put a space there. Paste that in there. Make sure there's no spaces there. Perfect. And again, just for myself, so I can see it laid out. I want to clean it up a little bit. You don't have to. Okay, very good. All right. Now I'm going to get the rest of it here. Put that in there as well. All right, let's go back over here. Let's grab this content here. Copy it, paste that in there. If you could copy and paste, you could do an audiobook, especially at the stage if your book is finished and you have it in Word and you could easily grab it. I'm just grabbing the introduction right now, okay? This could be, as an example, I use this introduction of the book maybe as my free course in the Great Discovery, where I may do, and this is how we segment out a book and put it as a course in the Great Discovery as I'm going through this, okay? We may do the introduction as the course, maybe with a bonus video, and the first chapter and the audio book of the first chapter as well. Then we take it to a premium course, which could be a paid course. Maybe we sell it for $29, $39, or $49. And we include the entire audio book and the book itself, entire PDF, and maybe a couple other bonus videos. See how you could take this, a book that you've written maybe 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, if you're an author and you've written books, you can now take it and do an audio book, and now you can start streamlining your courses and putting them into together. You've spent hours and hours and hours in writing the books. Now you can finally get it into an audio book and get it into a course with the Great Discovery. So there's a couple things I'm going to pay attention to here. So I think I'm going to just go for the purpose here and go ahead and produce this. So I'm just going to take the first paragraph really of the introduction, and I'm going to just paste that in there. And I may want to do a little introduction, right? So I'm going to say, I may take the title of the book because I want them to say the title of the book, and then I'll put our names there by Ed Garza. It's entirely up to you, right? And James Penny. James, you want me to put Money Penny in here? Or just James Penny's got it? Fine.
Just James Penny's fine.
Okay. So Behavioral Marketing by Ed Garza and James Penny. I'll just make sure that I don't duplicate that. As you guys can see what I'm doing. Oop, let me go back up. Scroll down. There we go. All right. Put a period there. And then put in the introduction. Okay. And then I'm going to put a comma and I'm going to do a dash. What does that do? I'm doing that for a reason. I didn't use a period. I used a comma because I wanted to pause after that. The dash. So it's just a trick. And we're going to put a key in here, like a PDF in our training. And we're going to put a lot of these little tricks that we've learned. So it's going to say Behavioral Marketing by Ed Garza and James Money Penny, the introduction. Why do it's going to pause a little bit. That's what I want it to do, right? You can see these little dashes in between little words here as well, emphasizing some pauses that we want naturally in there. And let's go ahead and produce it. Sound good? Let's get it done. You can add chapters here, so I can continue to use and add another chapter. So you can put your whole book and produce it all. I recommend doing one chapter at a time. It's entirely up to you. James, could 281 credits is equivalent to how many cents?
Hang on, I'll tell you in 2 seconds. $8.43.
You sure?
Oh no! I'm sorry. I didn't do the right decimal.
That's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Times 281. 84.5 cents.
Okay. So it's costing me 84.5 cents to do this in any language. Now I obviously have 5 or 6 chapters. So it may cost me less than it would cost me to go have a Subway sandwich or go to a deli and get a sandwich and chips and a drink. Okay. So clone your voice if you want. If that's important to you. I'm going to use Brian right now. Watch how fast this is. So it's processing the audio book now. Now, if you clone your voice, I recommend cloning it somewhere where you have a good recording device. Don't just record it on your computer. You won't be satisfied with the quality of it. If you're ever in Nashville, I got a production studio here where we can do it. We just picked that relationship up. So that should be really cool. All right, you guys ready to hear it? Let's hear it. Behavioral marketing. Here it is.
Behavioral Marketing by Ed Garza and James Penny. The introduction. Why do some businesses effortlessly turn visitors into loyal customers while others struggle to make a single sale? The secret isn't flashy marketing or aggressive sales tactics. It's rooted in the workings of the human mind. This book will transform how you approach marketing by revealing the psychological triggers that drive human behavior and decision-making. You'll discover the hidden principles of conversion psychology and learn to understand your customers' deepest desires, fears, and motivations. In today's competitive market, success requires more than just a great product. It demands a genuine connection with your audience. This book goes beyond traditional marketing advice, equipping you with the art and science of persuasion to set you apart from the competition. By the end, you'll have a toolkit of psychological techniques for crafting irresistible offers, designing user-friendly websites, and creating compelling marketing messages that resonate deeply with your audience. You'll gain insights into what motivates people to buy, such as urgency, fear of missing out, or positive reviews, factors that can make a huge impact on your bottom line. But this isn't just theory. You'll get practical, step-by-step strategies to optimize every customer touchpoint. From effective calls to action to persuasive landing pages, the techniques in this book are grounded in timeless psychological principles that apply across industries. Explore cognitive biases that shape decision-making, like the anchoring effect, where the first piece of information influences subsequent choices. Learn how to structure pricing and offers to maximize perceived value. Dive into emotional triggers that play a bigger role in decision-making than logic, discovering how to evoke the right emotions at the right time for a deeper connection with your audience. Building trust is more important than ever in today's skeptical market. This book will show you how to leverage social proof use testimonials and endorsements authentically and establish authority without sounding boastful. You'll also master the principle of scarcity, ethically creating a sense of urgency with limited time offers and exclusive deals to motivate action. Even the smallest design choices, from color psychology to visual layout, can significantly impact user behavior. You'll gain a new understanding of how to create user experiences that look great and are optimized to guide visitors toward your desired actions. As you read, you'll start recognizing these psychological principles in marketing messages all around you. This awareness will not only make you a better marketer, but also a more informed consumer. This book isn't about manipulating people into buying. It's about understanding human nature and creating win-win situations. By aligning your marketing with the genuine needs and desires of your audience, you'll craft strategies that feel helpful, not pushy, building a brand that people trust and respect. Are you ready to take your conversion strategy to the next level? Turn the page and discover the secrets of the human mind to boost your business like never before. The power to dramatically increase your conversions is now in your hands. Let's put it to work.
What do you guys think? Pretty awesome, huh? All right. Now, let's say you come up with something and you want to edit it. That's okay. It's going to cost you another 88 cents, right? That's fine. It happens. So maybe it didn't read something right. Okay. So I could easily go here and just click on edit, and I could edit the copy if I need to. Maybe I spelled a word wrong, or you recognize you didn't pronounce something right, or you want to create a pause through items that have commas in it. I already showed you how to do that. Like if you have a comma here between layout and can, and I want to pause there, I can put a pause. All I do is say design choices, and I can say, okay, I want to pause there naturally, no space, just 2 dashes. Maybe I want to do it, another one, 2 dashes between that pause. Maybe I want to do it with every comma, right? Just so it pauses effectively, especially if I want to have that effect, because pause has a great effect, right? And then all you would do is you just want, hey, I did that, and you just click on update audiobook again once you're done. Okay. Or you can save the draft and go back to it later. The good news is you don't have to do all your books at once, but you could do your audiobook right in the platform. So let's see here. We got about 9 more minutes, I think. So let's see here. I love that we could do that super fast. Another thing, guys, and I will tell you as a bonus, I use if I want to do a single podcast, I'll use the audiobook. And I could do a podcast really easy there. I just put the podcast script in there. We've done that. Matter of fact, I'll show you. We've done that for some of our podcasts. We have our own fictional characters that we have doing our podcast, right? That can help you. Like, for example, here's one we did here. This was the top 5 secrets from the weapon no one talks about that will change your business game. I won't let you hear it all, but I'll let you hear the beginning, and you'll see we turned it into a podcast. So watch this.
Top 5 secrets from the weapon no one talks about that will change your business game format. Top 5 list. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike, your AI compadre with the Radical AI Tech Squad, and welcome to another in-depth exploration into powerful strategies that can turn your business around.
Right? So you could craft single podcasts in there. I could even go in and actually make music custom music where you don't have to worry about royalties for your podcast also, right? I could do that right inside the Creator Lab. It's called the AI music generator. If I wanted to create, maybe, rock or hip hop or orchestra or jazz or blues, just describe what you want, like maybe an upbeat electrical dance music with electrical beats and synthesizers. And I want to make it like a short intro because, podcast intros don't only be too long. So maybe like 25 seconds, right? A little short intro. And it costs you 5 credits, which is probably not even a penny. And you have complete rights to it. I just click on generate music because maybe I need a little music. Or maybe I want to do an intro to my book and I want a little music before it, right? If you're doing your audio book, you can get as crafty and as creative as you want to, right? So here it is. It's done, right? Completely done. Here's the music. Now that was electrical dance music, okay? Keep in mind, I can create here's another one I did that's a little softer, like ambient. Okay, and then there's another one that I did. It's like an old school hip hop music. Now, once you have these, you could use them, right? Entirely, what is it that you want, right? This is another ambient music that I did. Now I used this. I turned it really far down below a video, and it went really good. Here's smooth jazz. Again, you can get as creative as you want. It doesn't cost you a lot to create your really cool music as well. And we even have if you want to develop a character for your book, or for your podcast, or for your course, right? You can develop really cool characters. Like we designed a character here for Randy, our podcast host. We call him Randy the Rainmaker, right? It gave us a description, like we were going to write him into a story, his background, his personality, his physical, his architect, where he's from, his values, his description. It even created some avatars that I could take these pictures and make them talk and put them in videos if I want to. It even put together Pixar quality characters. Is that not amazing? I mean, look at the detail of that, right? It's absolutely incredible. So you can put together characters, whether it's for your book or your novel. Just name your character. Maybe it's Bentley, right? As an example, and you want to develop a character for him. We may have an option here later, if you guys want it, where you could upload a picture of your character, right? So you could even create models and then actually upload it and use that as your creator. So guys, AI is moving so fast. We're so excited about what we can do. I mean, the Creator Lab is loaded with information. I mean, you do podcast scripts, podcasts. You can create your entire course in 5 simple steps and have it done before the end of tonight. And it does all the research for you ahead of time to make sure you're on target and you can inject your genius. So we use a principle, and I'll close out with this. We use a principle in our AI platform. We call it AI X3. AI X3 means AI, the artificial intelligence that you have, but your intellectual intelligence comes first. So your intellectual or your anointed intelligence, what you have between your ears and your brain, your anointed intelligence, AI, multiplied by AI, your artificial intelligence, equals amazing intelligence. Our entire platform starts with your anointed intelligence. We blend it in that way because it's important. Whether you're talking to a chat bot and you want to upload your own knowledge base, or you're talking to the ghostwriter, or you're talking to the book process, the steps, or you're putting a course together in the Creator Lab, you always start with your voice, with your ideas, and you allow AI to expand it, to help you speed it up to become more productive. So that is just a sampling of the platform. I have some gifts for you guys, a lot of gifts actually. Well, I'll give that away to you guys real quick. So we have some free courses that you may not be aware of. that I'm going to put links in the chat for you. This is how to ignite your genius building with our taps inside the Author Lab. Okay, so this gives you incredible information. Like here's the intro of the book. Well, gives you actually the entire book that we wrote that really gives you a great description of every single item in the book. And then we have a little podcast 3-minute tool. You could use this as a prospecting tool. You could use it for yourself as well. So I'll put that in the chat for you. It's a free gift for you. That's number one. So everybody can have that. You could use that for however you like. We also did one for the Creator Lab because we want to create a course that sells out. This is the ultimate catalyst for your success. 5 simple steps. And this actually has, in all the content, it has the PDF book and it has the entire audio book here. Introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and the conclusion. All audio files that you can download and you can use, or you can share this free course with anybody that's interested. This is another tool for you. So let me put that in the chat for you as well. So you have that. My gift, our gift to you. And here's this one here. And of course, we're not done. We also have another free course. It's a course about telling your story on your video. Even your cat will care, okay? It's really a great course. It's free and it's for you because videos are an important part of your courses, right? They're critically important. This is a free course for you also. And then, of course, we have here, this is our upcoming boot camp. If you're interested in taking our book boot camp and you need some help with writing your book and creating your audio book and creating podcasts, getting yourself published as well, we're going to go through the whole process in that boot camp coming up. And then we also have a boot camp also to help you pick up the shovel and stick it in the dirt and start your course creation. You could register for any of those if you're interested. You could also share them for commission as an affiliate. So James, back to you, brother.
All right.
All
So
right.
we'll turn
Well,
back
thank you
over
so
to
much.
Tim.
Appreciate that. Go ahead, James. Did you have something else you want to top in?
No, I was just going to say we're going to turn it back over to the Tim Taylor.
Well, thank you. Great job, Ed. That was fantastic information as always. And I hope you guys are starting to see the big picture of what we've got here. You know, all of us have a limited duration of our time here on Earth. And we all have certain gifts and talents, and it's our mission. It's our, you know, to leave a legacy behind, to make a difference in this place, this temporary home that we have, to get that message out. Everything that we're doing here is about empowering you to empower others. If you want to, you change the way the word, you want to change the world, you got to change the way that you work. You got to change your efficiency level. You need to increase productivity with what you're doing. Everything is changing. What we did 3 years ago that may have rocked your world and been at the pinnacle of success is not so much anymore. You've got to be able to keep up with efficiency that's on here. Like AI or hate it, we're not talking about replacement AI. We're talking about making AI your slave rather than turn it the other way around. Have it work for you rather than you work for it. That's really what it comes down to. So thank you so much, James and Ed. Guys, I want to, 2 things is we're going to wrap up this one session right now. And I want to alert you, we've got a bonus session that's coming up. And it took a lot of arm twisting to get this young lady on to come onto this session. Erin Loman Jeck is going to be coming up in just a minute. Not arm twisting as far as she loves the platform. She's got multiple courses and content up here, but she is a rock star. She's been all over the world, everywhere. She just did a TEDx talk in London and who knows where else. She's everywhere. She's one of the greatest speaking coaches I know anywhere. And she's going to come on with her next session that's going to be coming up really about this. It's turning your first-time listeners into lifetime buyers. It's the power of your voice that makes that work. And if you haven't ever heard Erin, this is a bonus session. It's a freebie for you. Tune in and check it out as you do. Now, she's going to come up in just a second, but before we do that, I want to share one last thing. And that is, again, if you're seeing the big picture with the Great Discovery, you should also see the big picture of what it is that you can do with this and how to get started. At the end of the day, you can come and go to countless seminars, attend countless summits, meet great people. If you don't take action on it, nothing ever gets happen. It's like Ed saying, stick your shovel in the dirt, make something go. The Great Discovery, we're giving you the ability to take your courses, your offers, your content, your podcasts, your training, even if you don't have them, to create them in a record time in high quality and do things that you've never been able to do. And we automatically put it out into 120 languages in your voice, in your cadence, and your focus, with a network of affiliates and marketers that are promoting it for you. You're getting new clients that you can work with from other countries and communicate with them directly, face to face, in their native language. That is life-changing. It is about empowering humanity, right? That's really what we come down to. So getting started here, let me just give you a quick recap of our options as we're going forward. One is you can get started with what we call the Affiliate AI Business Pack, right? This is for people that you don't have content, but you see the picture. You can market anything, any of great courses and content, including Erin Loman Jeck's or anything of the other ones that are kind of Jim Britt's. Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, soon to be millions of courses, contents, offers, trainings, software, tools to everywhere in the world. And you don't have to do it directly. Someone you know is going to know someone in Malaysia that knows someone in Russia, that knows someone in China. And they're buying and learning in their language, and you're getting paid residually on it. This is a life changer. And so the Affiliate AI Pack, you can get started with this like this, simple. You get your annual affiliate enrollment, eligible for override pay, essential affiliate training, and live coaching. You're not left out there. You've got ongoing hands-on coaching. You're not waiting for your upline or success line, or you've got live coaching that you can tune into almost every business day. You've got an AI Genius Club subscription with AI marketing tools, done for you marketing funnels. Before you even finish signing up and figure out what you're going to do, you can post in your link and share it, and you're already up and making money from day one. With that, total cost on that is $99 to set it up, as low as $49 in developing economies around the world, and then $59 a month for all the AI tools that James just spoke of, as low as $29 in the developing economy. Here's the cool part. 3 and you're free. How many of you can refer 3 others? You're getting your $99 back, free cost, nothing going forward, and you're making money on top of it. You're in the black by simply helping 3 people improve their lives and help others as well. You can do that. Now, this isn't for posts or for content creators or courses. Second option, this is ridiculous. You've got, for creators and marketers with your own content, you've got the Creator and Marketing Suite. That gives you unlimited content hosting. 1 course, 1 million courses, ebooks, audiobooks, podcasts, whatever you've got, software offers, training offers, live Zoom, 2-way, where you're able to communicate, calls to action, channels, the whole deal, unlimited content. On-demand translation of your content into 120 languages. Ed just showed you how to take your book, repurpose it into an audiobook. And you know what? You only need to do it in 1 language. Then once you put it on the Great Discovery, it's automatically available in your voice and cadence and tone and energy in 120. I mean, come on. That was that 89 cents, Ed? That wasn't very much. I think you can do that. You've got your creator support subscription, gives you a channel with live Zoom voice translation, where you can take anything that's in there, any offers, you can control subscriptions, materials, day-to-day podcasts, blogs, all of it, and it's hosted and you control access. You have your own offers, no merchant account required. It's all done for you. We pay you weekly on everything that's sold through it. You keep all the data. It gives you an AI Genius Club, the AI marketing tools, and the done for you funnels, and the AI Creator and Author Lab that you just saw. You saw a tidbit of it. It's all included with there. It gives you course creator training. It gives you strategy training. and gives you marketing training. Most importantly, with all three of those, there's live ongoing coaching. Coaching that most coaches are charging $100, $200, $300. Some coaches cost $1,000 an hour. You know, it depends on who you're talking with. We've got ongoing live coaching from experts daily that you can access and get tips with, and affiliate enrollment and override pay. Not only are you getting paid on your courses, but you get, you know, total cost for this to get set up, $499 and then $99 a month. Drops to $249 and $50 in developing economies. Everything that we have slides on the scale to make it affordable worldwide. 3 and you're free. Help 3 others to become creators with this. You're set. You get your $499 back and your $99 is waived. It costs you nothing. Can you think of any reason why you wouldn't want to do this? I'm not sure I could. And it is eligible to post courses and content. Now, to get started with this, if you're logged in from the Great Discovery link that was sent to you, scroll down from this view screen right now, and you'll see these 4 buttons where you can get started as a creator. Get started with just the Genius Club. You want to do that? You don't want to do any of it. You just see those tools, and that's awesome. You want to get started as an affiliate. Either one of those, and if you're already enrolled, if you're already a pro pack started in phase 2 or a transformation or a creator pack of one form or the other, you can add on that full suite at $99, refer 3 and it's free. You can add that onto your existing pack, cancels your old subscriptions. You are all set. Now, with that, I want to jump into our next speaker because this is amazing. You know, this is a bonus session. And when I say a bonus, I flew all the way to Seattle to see this young lady speak, and she actually came out and spent some time at our house, and she was going to rent a house down the street. That's how well we got on. She had a boat house as well and everything. And then the hurricane came and took out our luxury apartment downstairs. So that didn't work out very well. But hey, the hurricane season's back, and she's back in the country from a worldwide tour. Erin Loman Jeck, take it away. I can't wait to listen from you.
Thank you.
Amazing offer, a freebie offer at the end of her session. That's even over and above what we've got. We've got more coming too.
Yeah, this has been great. You know, I've been honored to meet both Tim and Sandra, spend a lot of time with them, especially when you're in close quarters in a house together, you really do get to know each other. So they are the salt of the earth people that you want to get behind. You want to be a part of this, and they are so welcoming. So I'm so grateful to be here. I don't want to know if I have co-host skills so I can share my screen. Just want to make sure. All right, let's go in here. Let's get all of these little things out of the way. Oops. And then I just unshared. That's smart. I was trying to close all the boxes, so you can all see everything instead. All right.
Don't worry. We've got AI tools that can help that technology.
I've had this problem for a little bit where I can't, when I'm sharing it, now it goes to a black screen. And I've been trying to work on it, but I don't have time to call Zoom. So, this is where we're at. Right. But I'm excited to be here today because what I want to share with you guys is one of the most exciting opportunities. This opportunity for the Great Discovery is so amazing. You guys have heard it all. Like, it really is the opportunity to really take your intelligence, your experiences, and what you've gone through, what you've experienced in this world, and really make money doing so. I love that. I'm a revenue generating queen. It is one of my special hats that I wear, but it is one of my favorite things about this platform. And like I said in the chat earlier, in my first month, I got my first 3 and I never had to pay anything. So I hope that inspires you to keep going. Can everyone hear? I'm just trying to look here. Oh, I have a friend moving to South Florida. I can help. Awesome. I love it. Okay. So I'm going to tell you how you can captivate, convert, and expand your audience in ways that feel natural and aligned with you, deeply impactful and connected. A lot of people get up there, anytime you see people speaking on stages, people doing master classes, webinars, all of those things, a lot of times you're like, can you get to the content? Can this feel like it's value? Well, I'm going to show you what I do today is exactly what I want you to be able to do. And I'm going to teach you when we break it all down. But it really can see where you can live in a world where we need more spiritual thought leaders. We need people who have servants' hearts. We have people who are really out there to help in a big way. Well, I want to show you how to be one of those people, because I know that if you're here, you do have a message and it could make an impact. So let's start talking about how you can show up and sell your message and sell now your products that you get to create. I love the whole AI thing, you guys. I didn't even know about it yet. I saw it when I logged in last night, and Tim had already updated me. There's all this new stuff. I just went in and bought it. I didn't even know what my $99 was. It was just like, okay, it's the next thing. Okay, got to get it. And now to even watch some of it, I can't wait. James, I'm gonna get on your calendar so we can talk, because I want to learn more about all of this, because I've been traveling the world. Like Tim said, I did a book launch in Times Square, and then I came home to get ready for my TEDx. It was in TEDx Florence, and I'm about to go back for 2 more this year, one in September and one in November, where I'm coaching all of the speakers. But it was such an amazing opportunity to really take my message globally. And it used to only be that was how I taught people to make more impact and influence on a global stage. But you're given a global stage with the Great Discovery, and that's what I think is taking it to the next level. My idea is I want to take it to TED and have them start using the Great Discovery as a part, because I do believe that there could be a potential for people to be listening to your talks in all different languages, and for them to be able to then go off that platform and come over and find some of the things that they're looking for to follow you with. So I know some people get all weird and upset about the word sales. And I would just want to let you know, you guys, sales is just service. It's just an exchange. If you had the cure to cancer, would you keep it to yourself? Or would you share it with people who really need to know what it was? What is it that you went through? What is it that you've had? What have you learned? There are people out there that are seriously praying and manifesting for you to show up for them. You are the solution to their problem, the cure to their cancer. But if you don't, you're doing a disservice to the higher power. That's all I'm going to say. I'll get off my soapbox, but I'm going to tell you how we need to do this. Yeah. So 4 parts of compelling communication. When I talk about, these are the most essential things in your communication, whether you're selling your kids or enrolling them to take the garbage out, right? Every conversation, I will tell you, is an enrollment conversation. You're either being enrolled or you're enrolling somebody. If you think about this, the conversations you have with your children, you're either enrolling them into doing a chore, or they're enrolling you why they can't do the chore. That's sales. You do sales all day long. You just don't put it in the box as sales. But when you just communicate authentically and you deeply connect with people, sales happens. And these are the most 4 important things that you need to master in that. This will be in your master classes, your videos, your trailers, anything that you're doing. You want to think of the end result and how you can deeply connect for them to go on that journey with you. So 50% of what people are taking in when they're like what you're doing right now by listening to me and looking at me is nonverbal communication. 30% is how I use my voice. When I would go up in my voice, when do I go down in my voice? When do I slow down? When do I speed up? All of those things create a melody, and it's really impactful. 30% of what you're taking in is, do I connect with her? Do I resonate with her? And so you want to do that really well. So you have to learn to master your vocal tonality. The third piece is storytelling. Now, I know that they were talking about how storytelling is super important in your conversations, especially in conversion conversations. But storytelling is how we all connect. When I tell you the story that when I first started my business, I remember there was a knock at the door. I was downstairs cleaning my son's room, and he was like 3 or 4, maybe 3. And I start pulling things out from under his bed, and I see food. I'm like, man, I have been such a terrible parent. I've been neglecting this because I've been building a business. But when my husband walked down the stairs, he put eviction papers on the bed. And I really felt like I failed. I let my family down because I didn't know how to convert. I was out there doing speaking. I was going out there and meeting with people one-on-one to talk about working with me or some opportunity, and I didn't know how to close them. And it was in that moment when I sat on that floor feeling so defeated, feeling like I've not only let my family down for not being around and working so hard, but obviously not working hard enough because they didn't know what I was getting wrong. Well, in that, it's the day I decided I would never let someone with a servant's heart like mine feel that way again. So when I tell you that story, there are important parts that will break down in that, but it allows the audience to see you, to feel you, to understand that maybe you're in that position right now or have been, and you can connect with that. And maybe you can't. And I will talk about how we connect with story and the important things to say in your story so that everyone feels connected to you, because it's the human connection, not the circumstance. Maybe you've never faced poverty level. Maybe you've never faced eviction. Maybe you've never had that, but you might have had some of the thoughts and the feelings and physical experiences that I have. And I'll share that deeper when we go into storytelling. And then the last one is your words. You know, so many people, when I work on their TED Talks, they're like, oh, I have to write this script and I have to have it perfect. And I will tell you, no one really cares what the words you choose. And if you forget your words, which I did, even in my own TEDx, but I knew what to do next. The words don't matter as much as how you make people feel. So, but when you use your words, you want to use impactful words, avoid wishy-washy words, get people to really feel the impact of your words, and then speak to their learning style, kinesthetic, audio, visual. You want to add those in so that everyone feels acknowledged by you. So let's dive into this. The most important parts of nonverbal communication is your body language. It's your gestures, it's your posture, it's your movements. If Tim was like, Erin's such a big deal, she's so amazing, and then I come on here and I'm all nervous and you can just see it and I'm twitching and fidgeting with myself and doing all these things, you're going to be like, whoa, he said this woman was a badass, let's just say, and she's showing up like this? I'm confused. These are important things. You have to own your confidence on that stage. And there are movements that help people connect with you. And there's movements that keep people away from you. Why do you think politicians stand behind a podium? Because their body doesn't lie. Our body, whatever we're experiencing inside of us, is being expressed through our nonverbal communication. So these people, if you ever watch, they hold onto that podium, pinning their hands down, trying not to allow their body to be like, I'm lying to you right now. That's why they use a podium. So you want to be able to communicate, to align with people, but to also be really open and authentic. Right? Facial expressions. If I say, you know, I faced eviction and my face shows the pain in my face, or if I say I faced eviction, you're going to be thrown off. What? Why is she smiling about that? Right? So you want to allow your facial expressions to show the audience how to make them feel. And eye contact is one of the best things. So is using your eyebrows. We'll talk about that. But using eye contact to make sure you're connecting. I'm not looking at any of your boxes, your faces, any of the slides. I'm looking right at the camera the entire time. I've trained myself to look at the camera, no matter what's going on. That's why most of the time I can't read the chat. I always wait till the end. But it's because I'm looking at you and I'm acknowledging you. And that's really important, especially on the digital stage. So here's some other things that we do that keep people apart from us. We're blocking the energy from people. We're saying, don't come near me. I'm not approachable. I'm insecure. And ladies, I've seen so many women do the hands over the uterus, which is playing small. And we don't want you to play small. So you need to be paying attention, watching your videos, watching if you do speaking. Watch your videos, turn off the volume. Just watch the body language. Are you compelling people? Are you confident? Can people feel you? Or are you disconnecting from them? It's really important. Here's some more open, nonverbal communication from stage. Raising your hand really makes you vulnerable because this part of our body is where most of our organs are. So when we cover them and when we protect them, even by pinning our elbows, we're doing that as a self-soothing technique, but what it's doing is telling people you have something to hide, and they don't know what that is. Because the first thing we notice in a stranger when they walk up is their hands. We want to make sure they have nothing to hide. They're not have a rock, a stone, a bat, something, right? That's because it's kept us safe. Our amygdala looks for hands first. So if you show you have nothing to hide, people are like, ooh, I can believe in her. I can trust her. She's got me. She's very vulnerable up there. Now the eyebrows, I said a little bit ago, and eyebrows are really important. So you can watch my eyebrows. So most of the time, here's where my normal eyebrows sit. And this is really hard because I have to be very monotone to do this and think really hard because I've practiced this so much. But when I lift my eyebrows and look into the camera, you feel curiosity. You feel like, ooh, she's saying something important. Ooh, maybe she sees me. Maybe she's connected with me. Because when we see somebody hot, what do? Raise our eyebrows. And so if you do this on stage, if you do this on camera, it allows the audience to feel deeply connected to you. And they feel like you care about them, like you're having a two-way conversation, even though I am not looking at any of you. So you really want to practice using your eyebrows. And now vocal tonality. I didn't know anything about vocal tonality until I was brought on to partner with Roger Love, the top vocal coach in the world, and I trained under him. I learned these important things. Pitch, how high and how low your voice is. Women, if you speak up here, men can't hear you. And if you ask your husband or your son to take the dishes or do the dishes or take the garbage out, they won't do it because they don't hear you. You have to use your authoritative voice, which is the deeper voice, which is your chest voice. Can you take the garbage out? Right? Now, like, oh yeah, I'll take the garbage out. So if you do too high, you lose your credibility. If you do too low, when you go lower, it increases your credibility, especially if you have an audience with men in it. Now, pacing, how fast or how slow you go. People are 5 words behind you. If you don't pause, you lose them. You speak too fast and they can't keep up. So there's times where you say something really important, like it was really important I slowed down. You expand those and slow down, allowing people to catch up. Now, the tone is actually that you can have a really airy voice like Marilyn Monroe, but you're going to lose credibility in a boardroom, right? Or you can run out of air. You're speaking too much that you don't fill up your air and you just run out of air. And so then it sounds like the end of your sentences just drop off like Eeyore. Oh, why bother? So people lose credibility, lose even wanting to listen to you anymore. So you have to work on your tone. And then how loud or how soft your voice is. Right now you hear my voice coming through your speakers. There's vibration coming from the speakers. Your body feels it. If we're in the audience and you're all out in front of me, you would feel the vibrations of my sound waves. When they hit your body, your brain goes, oh, what is this? Your body's like, well, there's nothing really going on. Wow, I must be resonating with Erin. You just resonate with the sound waves, but you can immediately connect with somebody by just using the volume of your voice. And that helps you become memorable. And the reason is because when you use tonality, you create a melody in your voice, and melody is stored in the episodic part of your memory. So now if you want to be memorable, you need to master your tonality. Now let's go into storytelling. Here's what I kind of do as a scripting of what you kind of want to talk about, how you want to present a flow that I use, especially on the TEDx stage, but it kind of just walks you through what you want these people to do and how you want to share that. So let's talk about storytelling. So if eons of time, we would share stories like don't eat the red berries. Mary ate the red berries and died. We saved each other from death because we shared our stories. But the 3 most important things to share in your story, what was I thinking? When I talked about my story of facing eviction, I talked about I was thinking I failed my family. I was feeling terrible. And if I was to go into it, I didn't do it in that one. If I was to say my chest hurt, it was so heavy, the weight of that feeling, the weight on my shoulders I was carrying, not realizing that I felt like I was carrying the world on my back. Those things connect to you because maybe you've never, like I said, maybe you never faced eviction, but maybe you know what it feels like to feel like a failure, to feel like you let your family down, to feel like you're overwhelmed and sad. And, and then if you talk about the physicality, what were you experiencing? That pain in my chest was so hard, or the lump in my throat. Everybody's had that. And they go in their brain and they go, oh, been there, done that. And when you can get people to say, been there, done that, they'll buy from you because they're connected to you. So let's talk about how we get to connect with everyone in the room by using their learning styles. Most of us pick our normal ones. So I'm highly visual, and then second is kinesthetic. If I only use words, can you clearly see? Can you imagine? Can you envision? If I use these words, all the visual people in the room will be attracted to me. But if I forget to talk about what it sounds like to resonate, when I use those words, it's also connecting to all the audio people in the room. And then when I use words like, do you remember when? Have you ever had this experience? People are all excited because now you're speaking to the kinesthetics of the room. So you want to put into your scripts for whatever you're using speaking for, you want to put those things in interchangeably so that you can connect with every single person in their learning style. So they feel like you're speaking their language. So now I'm going to talk about how we use the great discovery with your content. The first and most important thing is create a framework. You want to reach out to me, put it in the chat, you send me your email. If you want me to send you, I have a GPT that creates frameworks. Like I had to create this for a lot of my clients, but a framework is just, what are the top things you can teach somebody? So first time I created a framework was at Brendan Burchard's event. He got us to stand up with our framework and say, now stand up and pitch it. Here's a script, fill in this, and talk about these things, and then go into your framework. What are the 6 things you could teach somebody? So I remember I got up to the front of the room. I was just with the VIPs, and I had 5 men around me. I went first. When I was done looking at my script, I looked up, and they all had their credit cards out. And it was for the course that I will talk about at the end of this as well, one of my courses on this, which is about speaking, about using your voice. And they were like, we're all in. And I was like, whoa, that was easy. You need a framework. The cool thing about a framework, I know that they were talking about with the AI stuff, is if you create a framework, you can create a book, you can create a course, you can create podcasts, you can create your coaching program. And here's the thing, we'll talk about it towards the end of this where we get to that part, but it's, even if you're not a coach, your framework is all you're teaching somebody. So you're all a coach, because all you're doing is walking them through your framework, which is what your course will be. All right. So dive deep into creating your framework so that you can actually duplicate yourself. You duplicate that framework in many ways and create revenue in multiple ways. So here's how I've done it. I've taken my keynote and shared my who and my why. You can take a masterclass, a webinar, a PDF, checklist, ebooks. Make that your freebie, right? I like to use the framework as, here's what I teach, right? Here's me. Here's who I am. Here's what I teach, my framework. Now, the point is, in my freebie, I say, if you like this, go to the Genius Club. And in the Genius Club, you can teach what's the framework all deep inside of that. You don't go too deep. You're like, okay, now here's all the steps of the framework. This could be extended webinars. This could be online challenges. This could be a teleseminar that you've done. This could be a half-day workshop, audio version of your book, meditations, monthly memberships, podcasts. You can have all of those things repurposed inside the Genius Club so that you can drive them to the next part of their journey. Your job is, when they come to you, they have a journey to take, and you got to create that journey for them so they know what the next steps are. And in my Genius Club course, at every single spot, we'll say, hey, if you like this, go buy the full course, because that's where you're going to get my modules of every single step of my framework and the how to implement. But this can also be a place, if you've done a full day training, make it in a course, take sections of it, recordings, PDFs, resources, workbooks, journal prompts for each lesson. You could literally do this so easily after you create that framework, because all you're doing is going deeper into it, right? So then my course then says, if you like this, but you're struggling, maybe in my coach, so it says, okay, for speaking, it's who you're speaking to, what are you selling them into, then creating the speech and doing all the things we talked about, vocal tonality, physicality, the storytelling, the words, goes through all of those things. And then it goes into how do you get speaking gigs? What do you need to get speaking gigs? How do you get on stages? What stages can I go to? It has all of that. So if you're struggling with that somewhere in there, and what I will tell you is every time somebody gets to writing their speech, they do struggle. And so there is in my course, it says, if you're struggling with this, book a call with Erin, go to the academy level kind of thing, right? You're telling them, go to the academy level. You can either there get coaching on your framework one-on-one. You could do group coaching. You could do mastermind calls. You could do retreats. You could do VIP days. So I want you to realize that framework and how you're taking them on this journey. You know, when I told you about facing eviction, I could say, if you are there, if you're not making the money you want to make, here are the next steps you need to take. Go to my 10kfromanystage.com. Well, actually, it's on here, 10 stage, making 10K from any stage, which is my freebie, which I will show you in a minute. And then they go, oh, this is great. But, in this freebie, I still want more. And I want more. And I want more. And that's what you want to lead them through. There's strategy about what you put out there and how you lay it out so that it is a customer journey for them. But it also follows my journey. Because if I went from eviction to where I am now in a 7-figure business, making 5, sometimes 6 figures on a deal inside of corporations, like you'd want to know, what's that journey she went on? What are the pitfalls I can miss? What are the things I don't want? What are the mistakes I don't want to make, right? What are the things I need to do? What are each step? How does it lead me to that? Right? And so if you're telling them your story, and if I tell you, you already heard Tim tell a big story about who I am and what I've done, and then I gave you a little bit of that, but I didn't want to leave you with that because I also want you to know I can meet you where you are. Maybe you're not ready for a TED Talk. Maybe you're not ready to get on big, big stages like I do. But there's steps to getting you in those ways. And you doing master classes, you doing webinars, you getting people excited about the Great Discovery and your content. That's all speaking. And in speaking is the fastest path to cash as an entrepreneur. And I even have executives, corporate executives, high Fortune 100 companies hire me to help them be better at that so that they're enrolling people in their big vision and buying their books and going maybe and becoming an industry leader and sometimes getting better jobs, right? So you know that there's a customer journey for everyone. So I'm going to show you mine. So here's what I started with. I started with how to make 10K from any stage. You can find these on the platform. And what it does is I tell you, it kind of talks about how I make money. Then like, oh, well, that's great. She makes money. Oh, but what about how to captivate and convince and close in digital? Oh yeah, I want to do videos. I need to do webinars. I need to do master classes. Erin said, I need to work on my trailers. I need to work on my videos inside my course, which you're still telling them, if you're struggling, go up the ladder, buy more of me. So then it goes into, okay, buy my course, Master the Art of Persuasion with our premium online course. And from there, it's selling into one-on-one coaching and group coaching and VIP days. Right? So think about how you can take some of your content, repurpose it, and create a funnel for yourself. Now, if you need to have a speaker funnel. You don't just make money from the front of the room or in the back of the room sales. You need to make money while you sleep. So as people from the audience go, wow, I couldn't afford that, or I'm not ready for that, or I didn't want that, but I do want to know about how she makes 10K, they go into your funnel. But you got to have a place to take them to. So create that journey for them. Now, what I did with TEDx is I took a master class I've done many, many, many times, and I put that up in there as a freebie. Then I took a 5-day challenge that I've already recorded, did it in Facebook 5 years ago, and put it in there. And so now my full course is in there. I got to update some more stuff. I wanted to add some stuff, so it's not up right now, but you see how it's driving people up. It's up the chain into your content, into your higher end programs and products. So you can see how the Great Discovery is such an amazing platform for you to take content, to take something like an experience you've had, and share what are the top things that people need to know. What are the myths you can bust? What are the pitfalls they can avoid? All of those things can be driven through your customer journey. So I wanted to give a few minutes. If you have questions, I want to answer. And I was going to look at the chat since I didn't get to look, but I just wanted to hopefully share with you the ways that you can use your voice and to drive people up to your high ticket offers. Because that's a lot of times what speakers come to me for. They're like, I'm doing really great. I speak online, I do webinars, but my conversions aren't getting better. Well, it's probably something in those 4 parts of compelling communication, or it's how you're positioning your offer. It could be how you're positioning your offer. So this is awesome. It's great. And oh, if you want to buy it, it's, $5. And yeah, I hope you want it. And all that stuff makes people go, wait, what happened? She was so confident. And then she went into a sales and it all went out the window. So something could be off in your conversions, and it might be one of those things. So you go in and get some of that free stuff, go and get the course. You find whatever you want to be able to do just that, is to go and learn some of these things, practice these things, get better at it so that you can host your own masterclass, share your content, and then say, here's my freebie, right? And then here is my online course so that they can buy it. That's what I really want you to do, is take them on that journey. So thank you so much for listening, for being here, and for being servants' hearts and doing what you do in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin. That was absolutely epic. As you were talking about that, you're talking about stories, and I'm thinking back as, everybody's got those memorable times in life. And one of my most memorable times was when my mom was passing. She was sick for a long time, and I was blessed enough to be able to afford to go rent a place next door to her and hang out with her in her last time. But I remember her last words to me as on her dying bed were, Tim, I want you to get better and better. I'm going, what? You don't think I'm good enough now? No, I didn't really, but I really thought about that, because those were literally the last words that she said to me. And I was always ponder that. What is getting better and better? What getting better and better is tuning into some of the things that Erin is teaching, that Jim is teaching, that all of us are teaching, that Ed is teaching, and being able to take that material and not just to get better and better for your own sake. So many of us are going to that lifelong learning mode. Everything that we're getting better and better for is to get out and empower others. That's really what it's all about. It's taking your message and your techniques. And yes, the huge financial rewards from coming that you're rewarded as you help others. Given it shall be given unto you. It's not, hold on to it and store it up and lock it in because you don't know how to get it out. Get better and better. Thank you, Erin, for coming on. I hope you'll take Erin up on her offer to go check out some of her courses. She's got some great stuff. And I have a giveaway that we're also going to add up here as well. And thank you so much, Erin, for coming on.
Yep.
We're going to be doing a Q&A session in just a few minutes. So if anybody has any questions for any of the speakers that are still here, many of them are, please feel free to do it. But I want to give everybody your tip to getting better and better. And that is the Great Discovery course. That's our cornerstone course here at the Great Discovery. Is a course literally called the Great Discovery. It's the 4th generation of Six Sigma. That is a process that transformed world business. Every major corporation in the world, everyone, if they're a major corporation, has adopted Six Sigma. It was developed in the 80s by Sandra's late husband. And what the Great Discovery course is basically it's Six Sigma without the math and statistics. It's the proven way of thinking to bring yourself to success. This is a $347 course. It's an evergreen course. Every person here, we're going to give it to you today. And I hope you're going to go through it and not be the 80%. Just say, hey, I can do this. I'm in. I got it. What I want you to do is, if you want that course, whether you're enrolled or not, I want you to do this. Listen carefully. Stick with me here, okay? In the chat, I want you to do 2 things. One, write your first and last name, right? First, last name. And directly under it, not on the same line, but under it, write your email. Tim Taylor. Enter. Tim@thegreatdiscovery.com, right? You got it? So take that. If you want that course, take advantage of it. This is it doesn't matter what you do. Getting better and better does matter. And it's not, if you want to accomplish your dreams, if you have something in your heart that you got to get out and you felt like you're locked down and you can't break out of it, you can't do it because you have something that's holding you back. I hope the value of the information that you've gotten today gave you a breakthrough to get you to go to where you need to go and get that information out there. Take the extra tools that you need, get it organized. The AI tools can help you organize it. The coaching and training by Dr. Crystal Gifford will help you get it organized. The platform is a giant megaphone. We can get your material out worldwide. It just comes down to you taking action. Just do it. What do you got to lose? Except for the mediocrity that you might be stuck in now. You're better than that. You are a magnificent creation. You have so much power, yet we're tamped down in this world to believe that you can't do it. No, you can. And it's all here. It just comes down to taking action. So as we do this, I'd encourage anybody that wants to get started with the Great Discovery, just take action. It's free. You help 3 other people. You can all think of 3 people. Just do it. Just get it done. Take this step. We'll figure out the rest of it. We got live coaching every single day of the week. It's not that hard, right? Now, if anybody has any, what I want to do here is one, we're going to do this in a kind of unique way. I'm going to give everybody here the opportunity, as long as we can. I want everybody here to come up, and if you want the opportunity to speak for a second, I'd like you to put your hand up, and I want you to, 1, tell us your name, 2, what it is you do, and 3, if you have a question, let's get to your question. If you've got a comment or a blessing or some edification or some encouragement from the people that have poured their hearts into making this work for you guys, share it with them. That would be great. We could just go. Don't be bashful. You want to get out and make a difference in the world, you got to get, a little bit out of your comfort zone. And if you want to sit back, you don't have to turn on your camera if you're worried about that. But we'd love to hear from you. Let's start up there with Beverly, and anybody else, just go ahead and put your hand up if you're not sure how to do that. Down in the reactions bar down there, or right next to it, there's a raise hand, one of the two. You can also wave on the screen. We'll see you. But Beverly, how are you, dear?
Oh, this has been great. It's been a long day, but it was definitely worth every moment of it. Thank you, Tim, and thank your lovely wife, Sandra. She's just a treat, and all the speakers today were so powerful. I've been with the Great Discovery for a while now, and I've really moved with the channels, and that to me was something that was like dear to my heart. And listening to the speakers today share about how we can use those channels again, and the podcasting end of it, because I'm getting ready to start another podcast. And so for me, it was just the value that can come off of this platform. The whole platform is just, you can't say enough about it, and how it was all put together, and it's so simple to use. So if anybody out there is kind of on the fence about putting together a course, or you got one and you're kind of afraid to put it up, it's a piece of cake. The first time through, you're going to make some mistakes, but my gosh, it is a drag and drop that is so easy. And after you've done it once or twice, boom, it's a second nature. So I can't say enough. I don't have any questions. Everything got answered tonight, and I did get my upgrades. So now that I've got the Genius Club and another channel, this is like, I'm a happy camper.
Thank you, Beverly. I appreciate that. And everybody, feel free to put your information in the chat, so everybody can save this chat. You can reach out and connect with new people if you've met a connection in your breakout rooms or anything. So feel free to put your information out there. Jump over to Alan.
Well, sir. Thank you, Sandra, everyone who spoke today, especially James and Ed. Amazing, definitely worthwhile. I don't have a question. I just have a comment to say I appreciate the culture. I appreciate the leadership. All the information is one-stop shopping where you can learn, you can build a business, a global business off of one platform. There's nothing else in the world like this. And that's one thing that attracted me to be able to do global ministry, but it's even further beyond what I imagined being able to do just from this one platform. So I just want to say thank you. There's to the guests on here that may be on the fence, jump off the fence, take massive action. This is the right place, the right company, the right leadership, the right people, the right culture, and the right time. It will bless your soul.
Thank you, my friend. You know, it's almost like drinking from a fire hose some days, but hey, sometimes it's a fire hose of at least it's tasty. You know, that's good. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Let's see, we got Anna. Hi, Anna. How you doing? You got a question, comment, and tell us a little bit and tell us what you do, your name, first name, last name, and what you do, and what your comment or question is.
Well, hello, Tim. I want to say hello to Sandra because I haven't talked to her in a long time. I did take a year off for a lot of personal reasons, but sometimes you just need to take time off. And what an exciting time to jump back in and just take a look. Like, you guys did a lot of work in the last year, a lot of work. And I'm really excited about moving forward and getting my my podcasts, etc., jumped up. I teach on the 5 habits of multimillionaires, and a very simple process. But you know, if you don't pass step 1, you're not going to get to number 5. It just ain't going to happen. But I had the pleasure of learning from a lot of multimillionaires over a period of 20 years, and put that into a simple package. I'm excited to share it. I think that it will cross over in many countries because the principles are all the same.
Well, thank you, Anna. You know, we have our new course spotlight that's on every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'd encourage all of you, if you have a course, you know, don't have a silent launch, you know, get out there and get the word out about it. You go up on the new course spotlight, you got a half an hour to teach your course, empower people, let them see what you are. And that's where affiliates are going to see you, they'll experience you, they'll like you, trust you, and promote you. That's really what it comes down to. But you got to get your face out there. And
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And that's where my question comes in. I did do some work on my course last year. I haven't touched it in a long time. When I upgrade, you notice the word when I upgrade, that course information and all the work that I did is not going to disappear.
No. It will still be there. Everything that you did is still all there. And I can't wait for you to be back on. So hopefully I'll see you in some of my sessions again, right?
You're really right.
We also have the concierge service on, what is that, Mondays at 6 p.m., I believe.
Eastern, yes.
Yes, Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, where they give you some tips and guidelines and getting your pathway all up and getting it all down. All of this is new to everybody, you know, and it's new stuff.
A couple of compadres that are active in the AI creator group, so they're sending me an email and saying, hey, jump right in and hang in with us. So I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to go back to work and share what I have to share, but I'm more excited about sharing what everyone else has to share. There's such a diversity in this program and in this platform, and I'm just excited to keep learning, even with my gray hair, going white or whatever it decides to do. That's just my body. My brain is still 20 years old and I'm learning.
There you go. What they say about gray hairs is the crown of wisdom. There you have it. So, I don't have very much yet, but I use, you know, I'm not going to tell.
Also, Tim, I put the link for the course spotlight in the chat, guys. You can just click on that link. It'll take you right into a calendar and it will show you the dates that are open.
Grab a date. Absolutely.
Yeah, grab a date. And if you've got a course on the platform, if you're new and you're about ready to get one, save that link. The link is also when you go into onboarding a course on that screen where you onboard, down at the bottom in the purple ribbon is the link also. So that's why we put it right there. You will also get an email when your course is published and it will have that link in it also. So publish your course, you'll get the email, hey, my course is published, click on the link, sign up for a spotlight and spotlight that course. Get it out there and let people know about it. So that's
Very
awesome.
good.
All right.
Thank you. Let's jump up to Debbie and thank you so much, Anna. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that I came on today for the whole time because I've learned so much from others. And also, I've learned about more information and more details about the new channel and how to share it and get people, intrigued and interested and curious about it. So I am a certified holistic health coach. I do revitalize people's lives in mind, body, soul with custom natural solutions. So I'm always on the move to learn more. And that's what life is all about. It's growth.
Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing your spotlight up soon too. Lily, how are you? I couldn't, a very small name up there. There you go. Lily, correct?
Lily.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. There we go.
Oh, well, I got to take my hat off to Erin. She told me about you recently, and this has been, I thought I'd drop in for 5 minutes, and wow.
Oh, love it. Thank you.
Bravo. I think it's a transformative moment for the world, and you're in the forefront of it. So briefly, I used to produce The Quest, which started to air on PBS back in '96. It basically helped revolutionize, shall we say, the mind, body, spirit, spiritual programming on broadcast television, which was Greek at the time. I started with 12 markets and I grew it to 90 million distribution platform across the US and North America and Canada and Europe. So basically featuring everyone from Deepak Chopra to Thomas More, Covey, the Dalai Lama, etc., and achieving success with significance. So this was my big passion, was to help other people achieve their dreams, because no matter what I did, I was always like, who do you think you are, Lily Fournier? Because the opportunities were limited. So I left the country, not physically, but ended up going to the States, and PBS thought I was brilliant, and that's how the quest started. And what you're doing now is essentially what the PBS platform offers in the US. And so it's interesting that we should be put back together now, because I have not marketed any of my content of all these incredible shows and people that aired for 10 years. And I'm just getting ready to put that out there and going back on air on PBS for a anniversary special. So your platform and all of the work that you're doing could be a back end to what we're offering for online. So that's a conversation I want to have. But most importantly, I've been on a mission for 15 years to launch what is Live Aid Women, because I was given a prophetic vision of this dystopian future, and I wasn't going to let the Nazis and the communists walk into the White House. And everything that I predicted and saw, every nightmare has come true. So this has been a war I had to fight, and we have to win. So that is something that I put my life on the line for 15 years. I don't know who gives away all their money and works on a mission to try and save the future of humanity, except a total crazy woman, which is what I am, and it's cost me everything, but I didn't have a choice. So I'm still trying to pull off this miracle with what is called the Heart in Action Global Charity Concert, but people are running too scared. Can you imagine, too scared to go out and save hungry children from dying of hunger? So that's been my grand mission. And so we're going to be launching the Hero's Journey, the book, the course, the whole platform. And I can't thank you enough for your showing up at this moment with everything that one could possibly want to get out and find the courage to use their voice. And I think we're all being called to walk a heroic path now. And so you're making it easy. So no excuses has always been my motto. And I've fallen off the cliff many times, but I always land on my feet. So I just wanted to express my gratitude and say thank you for allowing me to share this mission with you.
Well, thank you, Lily, and we're glad to help in any way that we can. Happy to answer any questions. You can, feel free to ping me directly at tim@thegreatdiscovery.com. Sandra, maybe you can drop that in the chat. That would be great. And I'm happy to meet with you and see what we can do to help get your mission accomplished.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, very good. Hi, Jacqueline. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm well. I'm glad I was able to catch some of this. I'm glad there's also going to be a replay. I wanted to see more, but everything that I saw was really excellent. And what I find, because we've been doing a lot of traveling, and that's why we haven't done our highlight yet, but we have a wonderful course that's called Holistic Hardware that helps people navigate through the crisis of their lives through 10 principles that has been proven over time. So we will schedule that. But one of the things that I am trying to manage with keeping up with you guys as author, as course creator, podcast, talk show, we have all of these things. And I believe what's happening to me is I want to kind of launch everything all at once and get everything onto the site. And so my question would be, with someone who has as much content as we do, what is like the best way to kind of start and get it rolling? Because I want to maximize everything, but then it creates some inertia.
Well, the one is get assistance. We have a full concierge system team that can help onboard your content for you. So we have that functionality, we have that service that we offer as well. The alternative way is take a course a day. It's very easy. We have a very intuitive onboarding process. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of once you do the first one, it's like, oh, the next one, and the next one. In particular, if you already have it formatted. And again, we have a staff that are familiar with the process very much, and they're more than able to engage with. There's a nominal fee for that, but they'll be able to take care of it and help you get things on quickly too.
That's helpful. Thank you so much.
Also, Jacqueline, I'll add this. I think I would, I know the level of content you have, it's a lot. I think I would sit and sort it between what you think is how you can build that funnel. And you may have several funnels, right? But I would look at your stuff and say, okay, what would be great to get free out there so people can start, understanding who you are and what you guys do, and then look at how you can build that. And you may have one just giant funnel because it may be, a couple free courses to some genius to some, I'm not sure, but I think I would sit down and look at it that way also. And then say, okay, what would be, which ones would we start on? And so think about it that way too. So.
That's very helpful. I will contact concierge and start something up. Thank you.
Thanks, Jacqueline, and welcome to the team ahead of time. I appreciate you on board with us. Thank you so much. Dr. Ivanka Farabee, superstar. She's got that spiffy, cool. That's a beautiful hairdo. That just looks awesome.
Thank you.
You look great any way you are, but it looks awesome.
Oh, stop. And then come on, give me more. But I just want to say, and for anybody that's on that does not know me, I'm Dr. Ivanka Farabee. I am a speaker, a coach, and a trainer, and a content creator as well as a publisher, amongst many things. And I want to just encourage anybody who is even hesitating a little bit on whether they should move forward with joining the Great Discovery in any capacity that you're thinking about, to just go ahead and do it, because it's the start that stops most people. So you don't want to hesitate, and you may have so many ideas, and the Great Discovery can handle them all, but you really only have to deal with one at a time. And so don't get overwhelmed by, all of what is offered, because it's all amazing. The support on the platform is incredible. And I want to say today with the summit, because of the time period, I had some things that I had to do, and I said, I'm going to hop in and I may have to hop off. I texted, I changed my schedule, told people to leave me alone because I was so engaged with what was going on here. I didn't want to miss anything. It was amazing. So congratulations to all the producers of this particular summit. It was an amazing job all the way, starting from, what was the gentleman's name at the top? Britt was his last name, I believe it was.
Yeah,
Jim Britt.
Britt. Right.
Jim Britt, all the way through. It's been incredible, and I just adore this organization and Tim and Tandra and everybody that's involved. James Monday Penny, Ed Garza. I've never received as much support as I've received in this organization, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. And thank you all so much.
Thank you, Dr. Fairview. I appreciate you. You're amazing. Thank you again. Alan Roberts, how are you doing, my friend? It's been a while. Good to see you again. Got your hand up. You're muted. Got it.
Hello there. Yes, it is a while. Unfortunately, because I live in the UK, your meetings are in the middle of the night, so it's difficult for me. And I've been quite ill for the last year, and my eyes have deteriorated even more. I came across an article most of 20 years ago saying that less than 10% of coaches understand mindset. I couldn't find the article, I was told about it. So I did my own survey, and I came to the conclusion, you'd be lucky to get 1% of coaches actually understand mindset. Well, I had a mindset shift when I was 16. I was taught about mindset, and nobody else was even talking about it in those days. That's 64 years ago. I actually turned 80 in a couple of weeks' time. Okay? I have a lot of information about mindset, and I'd love to have my programs on the platform. I joined as a course creator in April last year, but unfortunately I cannot see the screen properly. I can't deal with any of the technology, and I'm stuck. So is there any chance one of your team can help me? Because I think I can create a series of books on mindset, maybe 20 books, but I can't do it on my own.
Well, Alan, unfortunately, there's no chance, but there's 100% certainty that we can. So we'd be glad to help. Send me an email. It's tim@thegreatdiscovery. We'll get you coordinated. We'll get some team on to give you some assistance and get you up and get your content up so you can get your mindfulness training out to the people that need it the most. You got it.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
You got it, Alan. Thanks for coming on today. I appreciate you, my friend. And I hope you're feeling better.
Not too bad today. Thank you.
You know what it is? It's all that funny food that y'all eat over there in UK. Okay. Any other questions or comments by anyone before we wrap up today? And I'd encourage you all to save the chat. If you don't know how to do that, if you wanted to reach out to anybody else, you can go up and save the chat. Up at the very top of the chat box, you're going to see 3 dots. It'll say the Great Discovery Personal Meeting Room. 3 little dots, click on that, and the very top button is Save Chat. And that is going to place it into a Zoom file on your hard drive, on your on your website, on your site. So there you have it, your documents file. That's what I was trying to think of. It'll be in the Zoom file on your documents file. You can open that up and go through and recap anything that's on there. Everybody that was on here today, if you registered for it, you will get a copy of the replays, any other offers, income and all that. And I hope you guys will all take action and get started with this. It's going to be a lot of fun. We need your help. And so do a lot of people that want to hear from you. So let's make it happen, guys. We're here to help. Everybody, all of our speakers, all of our guests, God bless you. God keep you. Keep you safe. And thanks for coming on today. Have a great day. Bye-bye all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Great
Bye,
job,
everybody.
Thank
you,
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Truly appreciate all of you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. You guys are great. Wonderful. Awesome. Spectacular.
You are too. Let's see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.